What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the second episode of First Sunday Wrestling.
I see what you did there.
Oh, okay. Because what it sounded like was anyway. Welcome to First Sunday Wrestling, and of course, obviously, while you're here on this channel, be sure to check out every Wednesday at 10 Central, 11 Eastern, whatever we want podcast. But First Sunday Wrestling is getting cracking. I am one of the hosts. I'm your boy, Super Jazz, or you can call me Jazz, SJJT, whatever you want, what have you, in the like. And I am joined by my friend.
Y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis, feogrande on YouTube. And yeah, I'm in a good mood today. Not really. I'm actually kind of in a sad mood today, but we'll get to that.
In a sad mood, wrestling wise.
Yes.
But we'll get to it. So yes. we're not gonna talk about it at present.
Yeah, because I know you got a lot of other hot button topics and stuff that you chose to talk about.
So we are recording this particular episode the Saturday before the first Sunday of June. So that will be June 4th, 2022. Decent amount of stuff happened. It just so happened that we happen to be recording this, because we take notes because we only record these once a month. And I was like, well, some of these notes I started taking earlier in the month after the last episode, and I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, AEW fucking exploded within the last week, 2 weeks or some shit. Mm-hmm. But obviously, two of the big things that happened. One of them we're going to talk about a little bit more because, admittedly, as much as I keep up with WWE to an extent, my boy Pete doesn't really keep up with WWE too much, and we both very much consistently watch.
Keeping up with WWE is, hey, roommate, how you doing? Raw was ass last night, and let me tell you why.
But no. So with that being said, it's got a little bit more of an AEW slant because we watch AEW on a consistent basis and don't follow WWE. Definitely don't watch it. And I follow WWE up to a point, but we don't really follow it at all. So the two pay-per-views that occurred, we just so happened to be hitting around the time for two pay-per-views to be occurring from both of the main companies because WWE obviously has one every month.
Yeah.
And then AEW is doing what WWF used to do, and they got their big four. So the two pay-per-views that hit was Double or Nothing just hit.
Mm-hmm. I liked it.
And WrestleMania Backlash is what we had for WWE. So I don't know. I didn't really watch. Let me not say really. I didn't watch WrestleMania Backlash except for aside from
you didn't either. Okay, good. I forgot that it was happening.
A thing here and a thing there. I put it on, fell asleep as it was on, didn't even really care that it was on. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, come on, First of all, let me say to those watching, this channel, we giving our honest opinions. I don't want this to be another paint by numbers bash WWE because WWE exists channel. But we don't really watch the product religiously. Just saying. Anyway.
I like a lot of the WWE wrestlers, but nothing storyline wise of note is happening anytime soon. It's the Roman Reigns show until WrestleMania next year, where they hopefully, and I'm not even saying this just because I like The Rock. I'm just saying it because I want this bloodline shit to end. But it's probably not gonna. Rock's probably gonna be like, oops, scheduled another movie to film. My bad. And they'll wait another year. And I don't have to sit around for it. I just don't. I don't have to have Roman tell me to acknowledge him. I mean, he hasn't been pinned since 2019 or submitted.
Sheesh.
So I don't care. I just don't. And when they're on now, the announcers make sure no one else in the company is worth shit. Like, they have Corey Graves be like, yeah, nobody around that deserves to fight Roman Reigns. No one on this roster can even touch him. Then Roman's like, no one can touch me. I'm God mode. Fucking the Usos then absorb the godlyhood. And they're like, yeah, why even bother? Why are we wasting WWE? I think, Corey Graves even used the line, why are we wasting WWE Universe's time with this tag team championship match? We know the Usos are going to win. And it's like... Yeah. Now, he probably said it, he probably said it to do the whole, typical heel, heel commentator, I'm gonna, ride the heel champion type deal. But at the end of the day, when it's been 900 days of unbeatability, what? And you say something like that, why would I waste my time with this? You're right. No one in this company's knocking off Roman or the Usos. They took all the belts. If Sasha and Naomi hadn't walked out, Naomi could also be bloodline with the women's tag team champions.
By marriage bloodline, yeah. But what was I gonna say? No, with Corey Graves saying that's one thing that I think about sometimes too. Like, that Chris Jericho, I think, like, some people give Jericho crap on his commentary on AEW. I think he does a great job because I think there is a finesse and an art to commentating as a heel, but not burying your competition as a formidable competitor.
And what I will give Corey, what I'll give Corey as well, is that he normally toes that line pretty fucking well. Because, somebody will say something, he's like, he's a 5-time champion, blah, blah, blah. But when WWE clearly wants you, and I'm not saying Corey's doing it, I wouldn't say that as a slight to Corey. I'm saying, Vince is telling this motherfucker to say it. Vince is telling all of them what to say. Yeah. The only one that he probably tells the least what to say, and that's just because his authentic reactions are hilarious, is McAfee. But damn well he gets told what to say too, and I think he's even addressed it. Like, there have been times where he'll say something and he'll get something in his ear like, hey, tone it down. Or something like that.
What's the name? I think was it Mick Foley when he tried to commentate back in the day? I could be misquoting. If it wasn't Mick Foley, it was definitely a few people who have said that one of the reasons why they didn't want to commentate too much, if at all, was because they couldn't deal with Vince constantly in their ear telling them what to say. But I mean, as fucked up as that is Vince's prerogative, but you do have to understand that if the whole show sounds like one person, you lose a level of authenticity. So, but no, so two things that in our notes that I'll talk about as far as WrestleMania Backlash or whatever, because again, didn't really watch it, but Ronda Rousey, I don't know if she still has the championship, but she won the championship off of Charlotte Flair.
She probably will have that for the next year as well.
Ronda has the SmackDown championship after she, just returned. I mean, it's interesting. And I mean, obviously these conversations were had when Ronda returned, but it's interesting that Ronda said she didn't really like the fandom and, whatever surrounding wrestling. And then she came back, apparently got upset about certain decisions that were being made as far as her not getting titles, whatever. Apparently, from what I heard, now she gets the title. Basically, because of who they are outside of WWE, we know when they're there, female, you're going to have Ronda Rousey, male, you're going to have Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
Like, that's just, I mean.
That's why I just said, she's probably going to have that until the next year as well, until she feels like losing it.
Do you have
But that's the thing with WWE. Again, I don't have anything against the wrestlers or anything, or be like, "Oh, this is a bad product." But do I want to see Roman Reigns tell me I'm stupid for expecting anything to change every fucking week? No. Do I want to see Ronda come out here, make her meanie face, and tell me I'm stupid for thinking anything's gonna change anytime soon? No. Do I want to see the fucking countdown to Cody, the fucking Cody counter every week? Cody being yes.
I have this.
That is a feature on Monday Night Raw. The countdown to Cody Rhodes,
as in like the countdown to him
coming out. Show? Yes.
Okay.
And Mr. I'm sad that I'm not treated that well, so I'm gonna make a company that hates, that talks and do nothing but talk shit against this company. JK, I wanted to be here all along. Look how important I am now. No. Whatever, make your money, do your thing. Clearly, he's better off in life than me. I ain't saying nothing against that idea. I ain't trying to disparage the hustle or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I don't have to sit back and I wouldn't have done the same thing. If I'm going to go out, that'd be like me finally deciding to play football and then joining the New England Patriots. Like, let's say somehow, sometimes I get juggernaut powers or something so that I bulk up in muscle, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play football, and the first thing I'm gonna do is play for the New England Patriots. Hell no.
Bruh, for those of you all who do not know, please watch the Whatever We Want podcast.
You do need to, but I don't like that team.
The saga. But basically surmise all of that to say, no, this man hates the Patriots.
Yeah, and if you're gonna build a platform on hating something, you're gonna come out and all you do when you make sure every pay-per-view you come out, you destroy some kind of imagery that's WWE related.
Right. He was the main one doing it, right?
Yeah, it's his company, and the whole point of that company is fucking WWE.
No, but I mean, even compared to the Young Bucks and Omega, who also were sitting on the board, Cody was the main one that was like, fuck WWE over anybody else. Seth Rollins, I saw a clip referenced on Raw, I believe this week, referenced what he did in AEW with the feud they got going, or Seth freaking Rollins, excuse me. I hate that freaking, but anyway, but he referenced where he was like, you don't get to take a sledgehammer to the throne after all that throne is done for me, So they even referenced the shit. So but it's like I said, man, and then we, before we get back to whatever, but never say never in wrestling. I've said
I know
that
you're fine with it. I'm not.
I'm not saying I'm fine with it. I'm saying it is what it is. Because like I said last time, without, fully disparaging the dude and making this, let's bash Cody Rhodes.
And again,
it looks shaky. It looks like
yes. Not to bash Cody Rhodes. Dude has more money than me, more success than me, hotter wife than me, and all that kind of shit. I'm not bashing Cody Rhodes. That's not my gimmick. I'm not bashing Cody Rhodes to counter his dashing. But the bottom line is, that's why I don't really like that understanding what I meant by gimmick. But yes, no, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm saying the decision in and of itself doesn't sit right with me, but hell, I didn't fully agree with what's-his-name's decision, Kevin Durant's decision to join the Warriors when he did. Yeah. But it clearly worked out best for all parties involved. And who, at the end of the day, who am I? Some dude on YouTube while they're billionaires. Whatever.
Like I say, it just, I mean, and time will tell. Obviously, that but I mean, then again, we have been swerved or tricked, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I know, right? But no, we have been tricked, swerved, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But obviously, within a year's time, 2 years time, especially if Cody doesn't get the main title and have some reign,
I'm pretty sure that's who they're gonna have dethroned. With the way things are looking, where you have a countdown to Cody every week and all this stuff, I'm pretty sure if they can't hit the Rock button, it's gonna be Cody.
Rock was talking about I'm gonna be Black Adam like 5, 6, 7 fucking years ago, and now they're finally starting to like film the shit. So that is big shit. So we'll see.
The only other there's the Black Adam thing, and there's also the XFL starting spring 2023. Now by The Rock.
So yeah, I knew that. I didn't know when it was starting.
So if he's gonna cross promote,
yeah, it would make sense.
WrestleMania would be a good time for that. But let me tell you something. If the Battlehawks aren't one of the Rock reboot teams, then fuck it.
Well, I mean, I say this too, though. You talking about going to that? You talking about not liking the bloodline? Who's the ultimate bloodline?
Well, if he's dethroning him, I don't fucking care. I want it over. I want somebody else to be portrayed as worth a damn in the company.
What if he comes back, right? And he doesn't dethrone him. He just like supports him, accompanies him, and like bigs him up to make him even more so.
It's frustrating. I watch it to see The Rock because it is The Rock, and I already said that. I'm not.
Everybody gonna tune in.
I'm not going back on my word just because I said that I don't. I want to see something different. I want to see The Rock. No, I want to see The Rock. He'll lose to Roman, and then I'll go right back to not fucking watching Monday Night Raw and saving myself 3 hours a week. Like,
I think the thing that hurt Raw, and I've been saying this when it first happened, let alone to now, is consistently 3 hours a week.
I'd be fine with it.
3 hours.
I'd be fine with it if one Raw hour was the equivalent to, at the moment, entertainment value wise for me, if one Raw hour was the equivalent of one AEW hour, I'd be fine with 3 hours of Raw.
3 hours, as good as AEW is doing, if they did consistently 3 hours a week, we would all get tired of it.
My thing is, I said if it was the equivalent in like quality, like because Raw. But here's the thing: AEW doesn't fill up the entire show with like Raw will have 3 hours and cover 3 storylines.
Yeah, promos and recaps and all that shit.
AEW will have 2 hours and cover like 8. And it's like...
Yeah, they do it.
That's all I'm saying. Because again, and I've said it on other things, I'm weird. I like long form narratives and stuff and massive universes with everybody's stories interacting and stuff like that, you know, a la comics or MCU and shit like that. I said it on a previous thing. I said it actually this past Wednesday's whatever we won. Yeah. Because I was talking about Doctor Strange, and you were talking about like how you hate that they have the TV shows for Marvel now. And I'm like, I like the Marvel TV shows. I like the universe being as big as possible. And it's one of the things I like about wrestling is that you have, and that's one of the reasons I like that I got in kinda on the ground floor with AEW, because for the most part, I can see how all these wrestlers get to their certain points. And then, you know, it's like, oh, this guy's big shit. I thought he was terrible. Well, you see, it started with blah, 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 because he was dealing with this shit over here and dooba-dooba, you know. So that's cool. So me, I watched, and as someone who watched Raw with the 3 hours and all, despite complaining about it every week for about 3 years more than I should have, because my whole stopping to watch Raw thing is a 2022 development. Like, I stuck with it for a long ass time. Pandemic, still watching it every week, 3 hours and all, despite no audience and none of that shit. All of this shit, no. So
that hurt all of wrestling, though.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, when we talk about not trying to bash WWE, it's not that I'm bashing WWE as a whole. I don't like their current shit. And you're right, never say never. I'm not gonna be like, I'm never watching WWE again. I don't care about what's currently happening. And if AEW, if I didn't care about any of the shit that's happening there, I wouldn't watch that shit either.
I wasn't saying that to say like you were bashing. I was just saying I don't want to come up like we're bashing just because.
And because you're right. People are accusing us of bashing it, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah. But no. What was I gonna say? No, like I said, I just like I guess that's neither here nor there. But I genuinely believe that 3 hours on a consistent basis for pretty much any wrestling company, no matter how good of a fucking like smashing job y'all are doing every week, 3 hours on a consistent basis is too much shit to write. On a consistent weekly basis, it's too much shit to come up with, and we would grow tired of it no matter what it was.
AEW might need to shit because they keep signing more and more people.
And so many stories, and they got a lot of storylines going on.
Oh yes. Also, okay, because you mentioned this the last time with the whole AEW don't treat women right thing. Because they don't put them on TV enough. And again, that's not your argument, but you felt we had to put it on here because people are bitching about it so much. So my thing is, we're not going to get on WWE. Monday Night Raw, we got 3 hours and we still don't have and we still would rather take the first 20-minute segment where someone came out to talk to the room and show you that 4 times throughout the night rather than let's put in another women's match. Let's put in another this like that. What do you think about the firings that they did?
What are we doing right now, bro?
We're changing the topic. We're talking about the firings.
You know what I mean. But anyway, the whole thing with that is people keep saying is WWE gonna sell, man, and I don't know. It seems like they might. I mean, what they took the WWE network from being its own thing, sold it to fucking Peacock, and now I don't use it. But from what I've heard, it's a whole lot shittier than the kinks that they had worked out for however many years they had this shit up.
Yep. Or at least it was to start. I don't know about now.
I did hear that. Like the search engine, for instance, it's harder to search for shit.
Yeah.
Like if you type in somebody's name, you can't really find.
Oh, so they went back and edited out a lot of more stuff that even the WWE network had from like past Raws and SmackDowns.
Yeah, because the most shit they did was like, back in the day during the Attitude Era when, we were watching a whole lot of shit we shouldn't have been watching. They just took it and they just made it TVMA. But I don't know, maybe Peacock probably said, we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. I don't know, probably. No, but
you can't have Tori Wilson kissing Dawn Marie.
But I was going to say, what's so funny is like, we were watching shit talk about TVMA on the WWE network, but back in the day, in 99 and 2000, that shit was TV 14. But no, what's the one thing that you do when you're about to sell your company? Like, there's a lot of things you do, but one of the big things that you do that's make people think they're going to sell is you purge your assets. And your assets, when you own a wrestling company, are the wrestlers. So all signs point to they're probably going to sell. I don't fucking know. I do hate that you have lives of people getting caught in the fucking crossfire of whatever this constant purging of people is. Thankfully, as we saw while we were talking about WrestleMania Backlash and we were going to talk about Double or Nothing or whatever, Stokely Hathaway found another job. So seemingly things will work out. Dakota Kai, who is I'm King Kota now on Instagram, she seems to just be, I guess, chilling. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
But
what options does she have?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. But
go back to WWE. Or maybe New Japan.
Come on, bro. Like,
it's apparently an issue.
Dude,
she won't get any exposure in AEW, so go back to WWE.
You said we moved on.
I was just stating a fact. You said she's not doing anything, and I was like, you got a good point.
You said you said I'm moving on.
All I said is you had a good point,
and then you keep going
and then you kept saying, "What are we doing?"
Because I'm saying you said we changed the subject, but then we keep going back to the subject.
You said you had a good point. That's all.
If every time I start counting and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 11, 12, 13, 1, 4. You see what I mean? I keep going back. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, good point.
Anyway, basically, no. People getting released, man. The biggest time that I feel for a motherfucker for some shit like that, I feel for him anyway, you know. Because rich people can have problems. Newsflash, people are fucking people. Obviously, the quality of problems change, and obviously, it's I guess it softens the blow, so to speak, if you have more money. But people are fucking people, especially if this is your dream. It's what you want to do, and then of course your lifestyle increases with the amount of money you make. But when it comes down to it, people are fucking people. So releasing people like this, I don't know. Like I said, I feel for a motherfucker when they get caught up in a contract and then they get to a point where they're like, I want to leave. And then WWE is like, no, like the Dave Chappelle voice, gotcha, bitch. You know what the fuck? And they're going to hold on to a motherfucker on some shit like what we saw where you were talking about with the Sasha and Naomi shit. And you have motherfuckers walk out of the company because they're like, yo, we don't like what you're doing. And they're like, well, too bad. And it's like, well, so be it. And then now who knows what the fuck is going to happen as far as like legally. Cause I don't know. But, or maybe you would get like a Mustafa Ali where you go back and forth, make the shit public. And then who knows what happened behind the scenes. They put a gun to that motherfucker head or something to make him fucking get back in the ring. Oh shit. But no, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not happy with the shit when people get released. And the way the shit's been happening periodically over the course of the last few years, it's crazy to say that we're just gonna get to a point where we're kind of just waiting until the next wave of releases. Which is the crazy fucking part to think about.
And that's the other reason I don't watch WWE. Sorry. I know there's a superior company people at home. But at the end of the day, they keep getting rid of people that I do like. Like, if you're just going to fire anybody else that could possibly be, liked by the fans, it's like, okay, bye. They fire fucking Cesaro. Fired other people as well. We mentioned Braun earlier, Bray, and all these other people. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to set a man on... Oh, no, he got set on fire. I was going to say, you know how hard it is to set a man on fire and be the face in a storyline? But no. I will say, you know how hard it is to brainwash a woman to do your bidding for like 3 months after you've been set on fire? And then come back and be the face in the situation?
Fair. That's funny. That's funny. Apparently, I haven't been seeing the tweets, but I've heard that people are like, apparently one Wyndham Rotunda has been posting cryptic tweets that have people speculating that he might end up returning.
Maybe.
I haven't seen it.
I heard he also might be working on like a horror movie or some shit. Like, I've heard rumors as well. We'll see what happens. If he shows back up in WWE, cool. If he shows up in somewhere else, like New Japan or something, that'd be cool as well. Or hell, AEW. They might treat him well. He's a former WWE guy. They don't treat any of their originals well at all.
We'll definitely get to that down the line. But no, man. Well, I mean, shit. Let's talk about it. The whole Sasha Naomi thing that we've hints touched on. If we're talking about big stuff that's definitely happened, it's funny when you look at it because Stone Cold did the same shit, and other wrestlers have, but notably big names, that have done this stuff. Stone Cold did the same shit. The difference was Stone Cold felt that at the time, if I'm not mistaken, with not like any build-up, a new Brock Lesnar was gonna beat him in a random match on Raw. and then this with Sasha and Naomi was a triple threat tag, and they were gonna win. So it shows just how much they did not like the creative decision when they were gonna be the ones to win the fucking match. And they were like, nah, we don't agree with that shit. Reportedly, they walked out because they felt the women's tag titles didn't mean much, which they don't mean shit in WWE. But they felt the women's tag titles didn't mean much. They were trying to make them mean something, and they wanted to meet with the people, Vince or whoever. Nobody wanted to meet with their ass, so they said, "Well, fuck y'all, bye." They always say, like, I watch Battle Rap on YouTube. They always say that I'm not going to tell another man, now in this case it's a woman, but I'm not going to tell another man what he's worth. I'm not going to tell another performer what the fuck they feel like they're worth. And anybody can look and see Sasha Banks and Naomi are worth a lot of fucking money and at least worth time sitting down to talk with them. So that being said, if it is true that they really did not want to sit down and at least hash this out with two of their top stars, that is a little fucking crazy to hear about that shit. But at the same time, if WWE was to take legal action, the crazy part is they would be well within their right. So it's kind of one of those, like, you did breach contract, but you did it in a way that seemingly from outside looking in morally makes sense.
Oh, in the same way that Brock... Yeah, they went back and they threw the titles at Vince the same way Brock has done numerous times because he hated the way the match happened.
Yeah. I guess the difference is Brock didn't walk out. I don't fucking know. But no, I agree with you. But I don't know. The whole Sasha Naomi thing is like, I'm with Sasha and Naomi up to a point. I'm still wrapping my head around like how much I fully agree with walking out, but at the same time, I understand it. And the only reason I say if I fully agree with walking out is because the contract, the legal shit is gonna hit y'all because you know you're in the contract or whatever. But then when you get roped within a contract,
no, they're independent contractors at Jazz. They're not employees. They're independent contractors.
You still sign a contract though.
I'm just going with WWE's terminology for their wrestlers, and they're allowed to treat them the way they are.
Yeah. Well,
if you're an independent contractor, then you should be able to make money, you know, doing other stuff, signing independent contracts with other people if you're not an employee.
Right. No, if you claim your people as independent contractors, then there's certain tax shit that you don't have to necessarily do. So that's all it is. Like if you
I'm aware about the whole thing like that, but that's why they're the, you know,
legal loopholes and shit.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're the juggernaut they are today, and why they're the superior company. They know how to treat the superstars.
What's the name? You don't get to having $1 billion or billions of dollars by being nice. Not that I am siding with Vince on this one, but you don't get to get that money by being a nice person.
You don't get in charge.
Which is as fucked up as it is, but yeah. No, like I said, man, anytime talent thinks that they have to walk out, especially when they're supposed to win, something is wrong. Stone Cold walked out and he said it's one of his biggest regrets. He said that's his biggest regret. Second biggest regret is turning heel at 17. But Stone Cold walked out and he was gonna lose. When you walk out and you're supposed to win, it says something. And I mean, you know, it just shows, like I said, like I don't know. I mean, time will tell. We'll see. Obviously, you know, a lot of people have been saying that the talent of Sasha and Naomi has carried them this far to the point where the cream rises to the top, and we see, you know, that they're gonna be fine, whatever happens. Sasha,
they're already fine.
Facts. Now Sasha has, done like Good Mythical Morning with Red and Link. She's done Coldest Balls with Kevin Hart. She's like, I think, featured on The Mandalorian. She's, done Impulsive with, Logan Paul, like all that shit. So I don't know too much of what Naomi's done, but obviously with how improved she's gotten through her tenure in WWE, she, one of the top wrestlers in the company, male, female, whatever the fuck. So they'll be fine. It's just it's very fucking telling, and I mean, like I said, I'm with them. It's just legally they did breach the contract. So if WWE was to take action, we would definitely see what the fuck is going to happen. The thing is, will they? But then again, in the past, we've seen what the fuck has happened. So I mean, they took action on the motherfucker for words that he said on a podcast. So so obviously something like this. But yeah. Speaking of things such as wrestlers not showing up to things, walking out on things, speaking out against the quote unquote powers that be of said company and whatnot, a certain dude that goes by his initials shook up the motherfucking wrestling world over the last few days or so. A certain MJF, or should I say Max Friedman, if you catch my drift, dropped his version of the Pipebomb Wednesday. And you most likely know, but for those of y'all that don't know, apparently there was a meet and greet leading up to Double or Nothing. And there was a meet and greet with a few wrestlers who were slated to be there. All the wrestlers that were slated to be there showed up except for MJF. And reportedly from Fightful, who is very credible, Fightful had the entire wrestling world or wrestling internet going nuts because they were talking about MJF didn't show up to the meet and greet. Then they said that a ticket got booked last minute for MJF leaving Vegas, but they weren't sure if MJF got on the plane. Obviously he didn't. Weren't sure if he would show up. His match with Wardlow that they had been building with, you talk about your long form storyline, what they've been doing with Wardlow is amazing. But they they opened the match or the night with the Wardlow match, and it made you wonder, was the match supposed to be longer? And they just hurried up and condensed it?
Yeah, because they just had Wardlow powerbomb the man 20 times and ended.
Yeah, and it also made you wonder, like, because I would have thought, had, there not been any controversy and, crazy, happenstance, I would have thought that would have been the second to last main event being the championship, but that would have been, I thought, second to last fucking match. But it opened it because they were probably like, bruh, can we trust this dude? And then reportedly too, MJF reportedly showed up shortly before the match and then left not too long after.
Mm-hmm.
But then Wednesday, MJF did what he does. And I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but I was gonna say, supposedly this rift has been happening. I don't know if you heard about this or if you saw the interview that he did with this dude, Ariel Helwani. Did you hear about that?
I know who Ariel Helwani is. I have not seen the interview he did with MJF.
Yeah. But have you heard about the controversy surrounding it and everything?
No. So
supposedly this was a few months ago, and it's so funny because I remember seeing the interview because I was like, who's this Ariel Helwani dude? Apparently he was.
He used to be working for ESPN, talking about MMA and stuff. Frequent guest on the Pat McAfee show. Good friends with him.
Yeah. Now he's doing wrestling interviews and shit.
Mm-hmm. Once ESPN fired him, doing their WWE impression.
But no. So I remember seeing the interview shortly before all of like the issues arose from it. But MJF did an interview with Ariel, how do you pronounce his name? Did an interview with him, and then shortly thereafter, you find out that Tony Khan was upset about the interview, not with anything that was said, not the fact that there was an interview, nothing like that, but the fact that MJF didn't okay it first. So that is what, and that's what caused the rift between them, because already MJF has been feeling like he's one of the biggest draws on the show, and he's feeling like I should be getting paid more money. That's why he keeps talking about this whole bidding war in 2024 thing that he keeps bringing up, which I'm surprised you haven't heard him say.
I heard it shortly after the last time that you mentioned it.
Okay. But yeah, he's talking about this bidding war in 2024 thing, because that's when his contract is up, 2019, 24, 5 years. And so he was already feeling like he should get paid more money after he signed the contract. Supposedly Tony Khan wanted to sit down, talk it out with him. And they sat down. Apparently early on in the issues, they kind of talked it out or whatever. MJF was apparently reportedly very upset about that, the fact that he wasn't getting paid more that he thought. And again, like I said, I'm not gonna tell nobody what they feel like they're worth, and it's obvious MJF is worth a lot of money. But the whole thing with that was he sat down and they said, which from what I hear most contracts go, if we signed you for this much and you want to get paid this much, then we're going to extend your contract to more years to then therefore pay you more money.
Yeah.
But if the contract ain't up,
what I hate is that no one mentions that. Yeah. I hate that no one mentions that they offered him his money. The only thing that they ask is an extension, which is perfectly fair, because they don't need, especially after what Cody did. Are you fucking kidding me? No, I wouldn't give him that money without a guarantee either.
I didn't think about that.
Cody started the company, was its vice president, and decided, my contract's not coming up, fuck it, I'm out, I'm going to WWE.
I didn't think about that.
They gave Cody his spot on his. They gave him his own fucking reality show. They gave him a spot on the TBS show, the fucking Go Big thing. They gave him a bunch of shit. They gave him the star packet. They gave him his own entrance ramp, the fucking Cody Vader, all of that. And he still fucking walked when his contract was up. So yes, it's someone who, I agree, wants a lot of money. I'm like, yes, you are a pillar at AEW, and we want you here for fucking ever. So here's your money and an extension. I don't want to do the extension. I want to leave for WWE after I get all that money. Then no. Work out your fucking contract. Oh, it's because I'm not an ex-WWE guy. No. We gave those ex-WWE guys a lot of money, mainly CM Punk, because they're going to bring in a thing, and we want them to be here. So for their contract, we're going to pay them what they think we're worth. Your contract technically, first off, your contract technically ain't up for another 2 years. First off. Second, we want it to keep going further, and we want to give you the money. Sign longer. Nah, you mistreated me. Okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like I actually
disagree with that.
I actually side with Tony Khan on this one.
I can't disagree with that.
If this is actually an issue, because I am not fully prepared to think that this isn't at least partially a work, especially because it got onto TV, which, as we learned with CM Punk's Pipebomb, was also a work based on shoot topics. That's what this is. I'm pretty sure this is a work based on shoot topics.
Yeah.
It even had the whole mute the microphone after not saying anything that actually offensive.
Right, because back in the day with CM Punk, what they did was they muted it after he talked about the Be a Star campaign, because it was going to make you seem like, oh, he's talking about too much insider shit, right?
Yeah, and this time they made it seem like they muted him because he said something like super duper offensive. And all he said was fucking Mark, and then fire me, and they kept beeping out the extra fire me's. And so now, if he actually wanted to be fired for saying something bleepable, boy, he could have said a lot of stuff and forced that hand. Because that's what I thought he was doing at first. And then I'm like, because I thought it was a work. Then he did his promo, and it's like, maybe it's not. And then it's like, oh, what the fuck did he say? For one, I thought they bleeped him out because he said a different F word. I thought that was at least one of the things.
Oh, no, they would be in hot water.
In addition to some
that shit.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If he really wanted to be fired for saying something that would be bleeped out on TV,
no,
force their hand. Because they would have had to fire him.
Way too much.
They would have had to fire him. That's all I'm saying. They would have had to fire him. And I thought that's what was happening.
I didn't even think about that.
But the fact that he didn't really say anything makes me think it's at least partially a work, much like the original Pipebomb.
Well, okay. So the thing everybody's saying, which I agree, is that all of the gripes and issues that MJF had leading up to this were very real. But because of the fact that us fans are so fucking connected and know so much shit, the shit got out. So it was very real. And then after the Double or Nothing stuff, if the Double or Nothing stuff was real, because now we don't know, but all the shit leading up to it was, real shit. And they took that and they went ahead. They must have come to a fucking agreement. And they went ahead, and Tony was like, because Tony Khan at his heart is a fucking fan, obviously. The man used to tape trade ECW shit back in the day. So he was like, yo, this is good shit. Go out here and run with this, because the best wrestling promos are rooted in reality, and they blur that fucking line.
Well, that, and we also have to remember who we're talking about in MJF. This man is one of the few, quote unquote, I know you're not supposed to use it if you're not an insider, but he's one of the few, quote unquote, kayfabe wrestler things out there. Like, even in his regular life, if he's in public, he's going to be an asshole to you.
He flipped off a fucking picture at a meet and greet. Like, I saw a picture of him like a little kid. He was like...
Yeah, like people trying to get his pictures at the fucking theme park, and he'll take the picture, like selfie with them, then throw their phone away. Like,
the man walked out one time. Well, actually, I saw it happen at least twice, but definitely once. The man walks out on TV, spits his gum out, and hits it in the fucking audience.
And
Who does that?
someone mentioned like there's a web show or something that likes to go to wrestlers' houses, and you're supposed to see them out of character, their real life thing. But the MJF episode starts off like it's kind of like that, but as it goes on, he does more and more things that are in character for him to be doing. And it's like, wait a minute, this whole video is a fucking work. He was just kayfabing it the whole time. On some Undertaker shit where you don't need to see the real me because I'm this. So when it comes to trying to manipulate the reality with all that, so you take anything on top of that, they could have leaked that shit to Fightful on purpose. Like, tell them that if was booked out in MJF's thing. Yeah, let's do this, that, and the other. That's all I'm saying. I'm not discounting MJF's talent. I think he does deserve the money. I don't think he's the best thing about AEW like everybody else does, but I'm also not a good wrestling fan. People love their 5-star technical masterpieces.
Okay.
That do something. I'm not quite the Big E level of what my ideal matches are, but I fucking love those kind of matches. Just hey, here's two big guys that hate each other. Let's beat the shit out of one another.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and that's it. Or if it is the smaller guys, oh look, Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin are trying to kill themselves again. Boy, wasn't that a fun match? By the way, speaking of that match they had with Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin, I love the fact that Taz said on commentary when the match was about to start, who let this match happen? Because that was exactly what I thought when I heard that was a thing. I'm like, who decided that was a good idea to put those two against each other? Now, entertainment value-wise, Obviously, that's a good idea.
It's basically Jeff and like, the person that he seemingly fucking inspired.
Yes, I'm like a guy that clearly watched the Jeff Hardy match or two as a kid and was like my life. Literally, Jeff, my life is from the jumping every night.
Past Jeff, present Jeff, like had a match, right? But no, going back to the MJF thing, like I said, they must have come to an agreement because they had him say it. And if it was real, they would have cut the man's mic off way fucking sooner. They wouldn't have held him on camera that long.
They wouldn't have tried to count him down to commercial.
Which I fucking love.
They would have just gone to commercial.
Right. But I love, don't count me down, you piece of shit. That was so good. But no, man, like I said, they must have come to an agreement and he said, go out there and speak. Because, like I said, the best shit is when the wrestlers, like the wrestlers say, take you, and then you turn the volume up. When there's some real life shit so you can really feel it, and you go ahead and it's rooted in a certain level of reality.
Also, literally the next match after he complained about ex-WWE guys getting all the time and money was two ex-WWE guys.
It was Miro and Johnny Elite.
Yeah. All right. So there's been 4 or 5 AEW champions. Speaking of the whole WWE guys get better preferential treatment. There's been Jericho, Moxley, Omega, Page, Punk. So technically,
there was somebody before Omega, wasn't it?
No, Omega took it from Moxley.
Okay.
Because Moxley had it for a minute, but Omega took it and then also had it for a minute. Every AEW champion, I think, except for fucking Page,
Hangman.
Had it for a minute. Well, I guess except for Punk, had it for a minute. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, I hear you. They do make a lot of WWE guys champions, but if you don't count Punk's reign only because of how short it was even split. 2 AEW guys, 2 WWE guys. And Chris Jericho being the first one out of that original roster made sense. Because you gotta get outside people. Yeah, you gotta get outside people to pay attention. And people know who fucking Jericho is.
Chris Jericho's name attached to AEW gave AEW a level of legitimacy to make people say, "Oh shit, Jericho's."
We're industry we're independent wrestlers starting our own company. Oh, we added Jericho? Well, what have we become? Competition to WWE now because he decided to, betray everything he knew before and join us. And push that away. Now he's part of AEW.
I see what you did.
Yes. All right. So they do that. So Jericho was a good idea. Moxley coming to AEW. Yes, that was a WWE guy taking it from a WWE guy. At the same time, clearly AEW, Dean Ambrose or John Moxley is a different being from the WWE guy because he went back to his fucking GCWS crazy man roots.
Well, he's bigger. Like, Moxley is bigger than Ambrose was, first off. Like, this motherfucker's buff as shit. So I was looking at, I happened to look at something like yesterday or something like that, seeing like an old Ambrose thing. And I was like, I knew he was like, Ambrose was skinny, but I was like, damn, Ambrose really was that much skinnier than John Moxley. Holy shit. Like,
until shortly before, until he came back from that injury and was on his way out, in which case he was big. And they was like, holy fuck, he is terrible.
Yeah.
Because I remember when he first came back, they're like, oh God, why is he so terrifying now?
Omega had a good run.
Omega helped start the company, and he had the title for like a year.
He had a good run. He went from face to heel with the fucking title.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. Some people kind of look at AEW as, at least, maybe not so much anymore, but up until Hangman won, it was like the story of Hangman was the story of like AEW. He was like the main protagonist. Yeah. So his story getting the title was like, like a degenerate, kind of like dude that didn't really want to do shit. Kind of
Well,
like
well, he
by the
ca- no,
wayside.
well, it's not even so much he was a degenerate, didn't want to do shit. It was he was part of the elite, and they kind of everybody else kind of moved on and did their own elite
Yeah,
shit, and then he kind of went to drinking.
yeah,
He took to drinking because he wasn't as involved in the elite. Even though he was tag team champions with Omega, Omega was mainly hanging with the Young Bucks for shit. And
right.
he took to drinking. Dark Order pulled him out of his drunken stupor, and eventually he turned face because he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hang with the Dark Order, sure." And he's like, "Time to do some cowboy shit." And next thing you know, Adam Page, baby, and everyone loves him. And now he took over the fucking championship, which he's also an AEW guy through and through. So they kind of have
Right.
had an even split with
Even split up with them.
AEW and
That's
that.
true. Two,
Now,
two, and then the one now.
now,
Yeah.
if you want to argue that MJF is the only pillar that didn't have any kind of belt by now, and that's kind of disrespectful, I'll give you that.
I didn't think about that.
However, they invented a match type for the guy that he always wins every year at a pay per view to make
Diamond
sure
ring.
his gimmick can keep going.
The diamond ring.
Yes.
Like what is this shit called?
The
Diamond ring.
the AEW diamond ring thing.
I forget what it's called, but the diamond ring, something. Right. So you can keep
Yes.
like winning because whoever wins the
Like
diamond ring.
that's literally a match made for MJF because his part of his gimmick is he cheats to win by punching people with this diamond ring.
That's like it's like saying whoever wins this match versus the Hurricane wins this cape. It's like, come on, man. Like what the fuck? Like, come on. Like what no shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you beat Mankind in this match, you win this Mr. Socko. Like,
It's something I've noticed in AEW that they're doing at least early on. It will eventually have kinks thrown into plans, but the company is still young. They're doing that for various wrestlers where it's like, no, this is that wrestler's match. They're going to win, and eventually they're going to win because when they eventually lose that, it'll be a big deal.
It's gonna be a big deal. Which
Fucking
is dope.
Darby, I think, has won all his coffin matches. Fucking cowboy shit. Adam Page has won all his fucking Texas death match. Don't challenge that man to a Texas death match.
Damn near dies in them, but he wins them, right?
Yeah, don't challenge that man. Well, he should. It's a Texas death match. He
death match. Right.
Yeah, don't fucking fight him when that happens. They already killed the CM Punk of Chicago thing that had been established forever, but they definitely had it continued when he started in AEW.
Sammy was kind of holding down ladder matches for a second, but I think he lost to. Did he lose to Cody on the way out? He lost to somebody. He lost to Scorpio. Who did he lose to in a ladder match? I'm getting my shit mixed up.
Probably
Somebody
Scorpio.
Correct me. Somebody in the comments is gonna correct me. But I feel like it was Scorpio. But for a minute, Sammy was like the ladder match king.
But yeah, so, I'm just saying, there's stuff like that. The Stadium Stampede and its equivalents. That's the Jericho's faction match. I'm pretty sure they win every fucking time.
Any group that is like a Stadium Stampede-esque, the Jericho-led team is going to win. That's a good point.
As we learned this past weekend.
But real quick, I was going to say, so the MJF thing real quick, and then we can go back to the anarchy in the arena. But nah. They must have come to an agreement because they would have cut the mic off. But I will say I'm with you that if, and this is not me trying to disparage MJF obviously has shown his work, but if we're being honest, if you on a mainstream level were not known, then somebody signed you for however much money and got you known, and you prove your worth throughout, unfortunately, that is how the contract goes until the contract is up.
Yeah.
So, like, if I was to, I use this analogy with my brother. If I was to be, let's say, working somewhere making $10 an hour, and then all of a sudden, like, this company, or like whatever the company is, says, yo, we're going to take you and we're going to pay you $25 an hour. So then I started doing it, and I started doing that shit to a fucking T, employee of the month every fucking month, killing shit, doing this, doing that, blah, 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 blah. but I signed a contract for whatever it was, but I went from 10 an hour to 25 an hour. Now I don't know how much MJF getting paid. I'm using an analogy, whatever. Not trying to disparage. I'm just saying. And then I'm like, yo, it is obvious from my vantage point. I'm like, it's obvious that I'm bringing this company a lot of money. People come to see me. I'm killing this shit. They're highlighting me. Look at all these employees. I'm on flags on the wall, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck this 25 an hour. I should be getting paid 40 an hour. It's like, yo, you can get paid this 40 an hour, but for a minute, you weren't really getting paid even the 25. So let that roll over. Yeah. So I'm kind of with you on that.
Man, well, for me, like, no, they didn't. I think, and again, I'm not saying they shouldn't raise the man's thing till 24. I'm saying it's in their right to not address it until 2024. It's in their right because that's what the original deal was. However, me and according to rumors and everything, Tony Khan as well are perfectly fine with yes. You have been exceeding it. You have been exceeding it. Here's your raise. However, we want to keep you here. I want to leave. I want all that and to leave, like what Cody did. Do you see what Cody's getting? Yeah. And so it's like, all right, nah. wait a minute, dude. You is 26. Let's also keep that in mind. Said ex-WWE guys, how many more fucking long title runs do you see Chris Jericho having? 50-year-old Chris Jericho.
I mean, if you want my honest opinion, the man probably got at least 3 in them.
Of the championship long runs. Over 50.
How long are you considering long?
How long was his first one? Like a fucking year?
I see the dude I see him having at least 2, man, but probably 3. If you want, and I'm not just saying that to like argue with you.
All right, I get.
Before he leaves the company,
I'm not trying to disparage the man. Obviously, he's in shape and stuff. I don't see him wrestling till he is like 70 or 60 or some shit like that.
I don't think it's gonna be that long before he has the title 3 more times too. But I get what you mean.
Because it's one of those things where, especially because AEW. Because even though Adam Page's reign was short, he still defended the title like 7 times.
Yeah.
They want that championship to not switch hands every week, unlike the other company that does everything right, apparently. They want their title not to switch hands every week. So when you think about other champions having it and holding that title for a minute, like, maybe they could give Jericho this title right now with the Jericho Appreciation Society thing, since they need an interim champion. Maybe they put it back on Jericho and have him do that really maximum heel thing to have your main guy call himself a sports entertainer. Really piss off the MJF thing. Maybe they're just trying to do an MJF face turn with all of this, and this is the only way they can think to do it, is guy versus boss, because that's literally the only way you can do it. They do a double turn, and now suddenly you have Mr. Khan coming out every week. And
Mr. Khan.
MJF attacking him, trying to get fired. Who knows? And then suddenly MJF has a face turn.
I see. I mean, obviously, there's a possibility of a face turn happening because I was sitting down with Big Bro. We were watching it. And obviously, everybody, you could hear the cheers. And I said, because Long Island for MJF is Bizarro World, where MJF is like the biggest face in the fucking company and he gets cheered, which makes sense because this is home, but I'm just saying that's the only place it happens. But it showed you when he was in Long Island just how good he would be if he ever turned face. So then you fast forward to Wednesday just passed, and when people start cheering, it's hard to hate someone that is the downtrodden everyman that the big bad corporation is shitting on, which this is being
twisted into. Which is interesting. Why it's interesting that on screen, since they're bringing this up, they don't have Tony come out and be like, "Hey, motherfucker, All I asked was for an extension. Because
I
then that
see.
puts it back on MJF. They're like, oh, motherfucker tried to give you the money, and you're the one saying no.
I see.
And they don't want you to, because they want you to feel sorry for them on some
I
fucking Wanda
see
shit.
this. I see this happening where MJF, not MJF. I see this happening where because I feel like Tony Khan doesn't necessarily want to be on screen that much. The only time Tony Khan was ever really on screen was when he let out Martha Hart, which I thought that was beautiful that they let that go on. Rest in peace, Owen. Let out Martha. He talked about buying Ring of Honor. He came out, for the Forbidden Door. Like basically when he makes his announcements, but he doesn't really come out that much. So I see it happening. Tony doesn't necessarily be that much of an on-screen character, but his name gets mentioned more, and we hear about what's going on behind the scenes with him. Vince wanted to be in the spotlight. That is like well documented that he wanted to wrestle, and before he got the company from his dad didn't want him to wrestle. He got the company and said, I love your dad, but I'm doing this shit.
Tony basically does like a press conference after every fucking pay-per-view. He don't want to be on camera?
I'm talking about being on camera in the capacity of a wrestling show.
Okay. I don't understand things, but okay.
Why is that a problem to say?
No, I'm admitting I'm wrong. Tony doesn't want to be on camera.
We're having a conversation, bro.
I don't. I feel like if the man didn't want to be on camera, there are things you can do to make sure no one fucking knows who you are.
I'm not saying
like no one has to know Tony Khan. No one has to know Tony Khan is even that involved with the company. You could look up. If he don't want to be involved or doesn't want to be on the camera, motherfucker could be someone you have to go on like OTC and look up AEW stock to see. Oh, the owner of this company is technically a Tony Khan.
Right.
Okay.
That
yeah. That's all I'm saying. You hold press conferences, you come out on TV, you have people drop your name in promos. Motherfucker, you were part of the program, you on TV. He's come out and said stuff too, and then like, nah, that ain't how this works. We're doing things differently because this is AEW.
True, I don't see him slowly phasing from periodically being on camera to more frequently being on camera. That's what I mean.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, I'm not going to be surprised if we see Mr. Khan on TV in the coming months.
I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if we saw that in some type of capacity because people are calling this the MJF pipe bomb because of the parallels to CM Punk. But also, the thing that I thought was this is definitely parallels to Austin McMahon.
Yeah.
It's parallels to both of those, easily. This is, like I said, I'm the everyman being held down by my boss in the big bad corporation. That's Austin.
Yeah.
Like a motherfucker. The main reason everybody liked Austin, we didn't get it because we were young. So, we didn't have jobs and shit. But everybody, talked about the main reason they liked Austin was, I wish I could whip my boss's ass and he's doing it, So.
Well, to be fair, you don't need a boss to understand, like, hey, this person's abusing their power and this person's doing everything power to stop this other guy. I want to root for the other
also,
guy.
I was like 9.
Also, Austin comes in driving a fucking beer truck and spraying people down with a fucking hose and comes in on a Zamboni, beats the shit out of them, shows up at a doctor's office, does all this cool shit. Like, if Austin was doing that shit to fucking Michael Cole, I'm still like, haha, Austin's awesome. Like, so, I don't think you needed to have that whole I wish I could whoop my boss's ass thing to like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, no.
I just think you gotta do cool shit. I think the main reason MJF won't be as successful as an Austin with this whole me versus my boss thing is because he is very much not it's been done before, but that clearly doesn't matter. We're in the world of remakes and all this other shit. Done before literally is not a excuse anymore. And also MJF is also clearly not an everyman.
Yeah, well, I mean, the man comes out with a fucking Burberry scarf. So, yeah. Like, he made that, like, one of his things.
And he's got a diamond ring on, and he constantly reminds you that he's better than you.
And you know it. Right. Meanwhile, you had Austin that had
I'm just here to drink some beers and whip some ass.
Right. He came out with fucking t-shirt, little ball cap, fucking jean shorts, fucking came out, drank some beers, had an accent,
It's also why it won't be as successful as the CM Punk thing, because CM Punk was a heel before he did the pipe bomb thing.
But he was every
and
man
blah blah blah. But he was a heel, but he still had the good nature to it. He was one of those things where, why is this guy a heel? I don't know. Wrestling fans, I guess. All the guy does is come out and be like, I don't drink or smoke.
No, the thing CM Punk had behind him was that whole voice of the voiceless thing. Where
also that. MJF don't give a fuck about the voiceless. He's just MJF. So it works. It was a great promo. I'm not taking away from his skill. MJF is indeed better than me when it comes to like acting and wrestling and all of that shit. Sure. MJF, fantastic performer. I'm just saying while I enjoyed the promo and everything that happened because I'm a human being, I don't think it was as revolutionary as everyone does, especially because people are more in the know now about how things work. And as such, we know that technically they already offered this man his money.
Like, I mean, that go ahead.
Like when CM Punk left back then, we knew less, but we also knew Vince has a tendency to not offer people
and not
any
do those
money,
types of
because Vince, unless your ass is a Stone Cold or The Rock or so and so, because even CM Punk post Pipebomb, he had a title run, but then Vince was like, "Get your ass out my company," or not so much "Get my ass out my company" is like, "You ain't a main eventer." Despite having the title for a whole year. So Vince didn't think that 430 days is 430 days, first off. Second off, it wasn't a main event every pay-per-view. But at the end of the day, I don't think CM Punk is a bigger superstar than The Rock and John Cena. I'm sorry.
But they definitely could have like pushed him more than they were pushing him at the time.
They sure could have. Could have given the title for 900 days, like Roman. I agree.
I'm not even saying that. I am in the belief that the title holder needs to be, even if it's not every fucking week, the title holder needs to be the most important thing on TV. Which is why as much as I liked Hangman's reign, and I wanted CM Punk to win the title, I didn't necessarily want CM Punk to win the title just yet because I feel like there was more they could have done with Hangman's reign.
Adam Page, baby. The fact that they kept having to fight Adam Cole was hilarious.
Well, when everybody was like, "We want Adam" and all that shit.
Because that doesn't happen often, that you have two people with the same name fight each other. Name. But go ahead.
But no, the MJF thing, man. I fucking like tweeted on Sean Ross Sapp, shout out to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, but I tweeted, it was either his or Denise Salcedo, one of them two were part of Fightful. I tweeted on their thing where they were talking about MJF and like quoting one of the things he said within his quote unquote pipe bomb. And I tweeted, replied to it saying, I don't care if this just happened or if it's 10 years from now, that was legendary already. I loved everything about this.
It's a great performance.
I loved everything about it from start to finish. Even if, like I said, I don't fully like. I agree with some, but not all of the reported real world incidents and shit surrounding it. I love what it represents on a storyline aspect, and when I saw that shit, it was like, holy shit, suspend disbelief or not. Holy shit, this is the shit. I think that we gonna die. Time will tell, but I think we will be putting that right up there with, and obviously not necessarily right on the level, but we'll be putting it right up there with Kane, Dewey, Hard Times, fucking Austin 316, CM Punk's Pipe Bomb, all that shit. Like, I think that it's up there. We'll see, but I think that it's up there with all those. Like all these legendary promos that we see. I'm MJF on fucking, was it June 1st, 2022? Bam.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm clearly wrong about most of my wrestling opinions. But so, while I agree that it was a fantastic promo, I don't know if it's going to be the same as your 316 and Pipe Bomb moments. Because, as I mentioned, MJF is not as relatable of a being. Especially because, again, CM Punk, we know Vince never liked him.
Right.
Stone Cold, we knew less about the workings of the wrestling company. We didn't realize Vince liked him more than anybody else, but from what we saw on TV, Vince didn't like him.
Yeah.
AEW, people are way too knowledgeable nowadays, especially the AEW crowd. That's right, the other thing. AEW is like for the internet wrestling community, and WWE is for people who want to watch TV for 3 hours every week. That at the end of the day, like the fact that you and I don't like watching modern day WWE matters not, because we aren't the fans they want.
No, right, of course, yeah, exactly. They want. Some people say there's no such thing as a casual wrestling fan nowadays. They want more of a casual fan audience, and they want a younger audience.
There's no such thing as casual wrestling fans. How is WWE still in business if there's no such thing as casual wrestling fans?
Some people have said that. I don't necessarily know if I fully agree with that or not. I see where people are coming from, but I don't know if I fully agree with that. But I'm just saying, but WWE wants more of a casual fan audience, and they want a younger audience, while AEW clearly goes for more of a hardcore fan and an older crowd.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which is why when fucking Ruby Soho was in the ring with Britt Baker, talk about, yeah, you know, I'm used to being across from somebody who's banging a dude in the back. We don't have to know who she's talking about because everybody knows that Britt Baker's with Adam Cole, which is why the whole crowd goes, oh, because we know that shit, because we all follow this shit. So, yeah, right.
That in AEW doesn't hide that shit. Look at Sammy and Tay. They don't hide who they're dating because why bother? They know their fans are going to look into that. So and also it just makes for better. It makes for story connections because it's like, well, now you mix that like real stuff in there. It's like, wait a minute, this, that, and the other.
How do you feel about Sammy and Ty's on-screen relationship? Fuck the
oh no! Hot people are annoying when they show how much they want to fuck each other in reality. That's such a foreign concept to me. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is about as much as any other hot couple that's way too PDA in public. It's textbook.
To me,
at the end of the day, if they happy, they happy. If they're overall like, hey, let's fuck 24/7 persona that they're putting out there is how they live their life, they're like at least a decade, if not more, younger than me. Have fun. Do you or each other, as it were. At the end of the day, I don't fucking care. It makes for great heels. Clearly, everybody hates them. No one likes to see hot people be happy.
I'm sorry.
And people don't like being happy in general, if I've learned anything in the past few months. But that's a more of a whatever we want kind of topic than it is for this. But the bottom line is, it's textbook. I'm fine with it. Oh no, people are mad that they fucking kiss on every screen.
I do not have a problem with Sammy and Ty's on-screen relationship. And honestly, they tried to make them faces because Sammy was a face, Ty was a face. They tried to make them faces together. It didn't work out, so they leaned into the heel shit. I don't have a problem, but what I was going to say was, I forgot my point. Hopefully I remember. Go ahead, what were you going to say?
Sammy was a face, but Sammy is not the kind of character or person that can stay face for long. his whole thing. He'd been calling himself like a Spanish sex god since he's shown up.
Oh, you think like he's
look
like
at my
a
look at
smug
my
little
abs.
bastard,
Yes, he's
dude.
been a little smug asshole
Smug
since he
little
joined
bastard,
WWE. So the only reason he became a quote unquote face is because he was like parting away from the Jericho Society, and also he jumps off of shit. And that'll make people
it's hard to hate a
cheer for you.
motherfucker
That jumps off of shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like he jumps
That's why
off of shit.
In the video games, if you like when they used to have it in the video game to build up your like finish meter as a face, it was jump off shit.
Yeah.
So right.
But at the end of the day, he didn't really change that much of his personality. He just was like Jericho. Apparently, Inner Circle started being faces at some point in here. But you're going back to being a heel, and I ain't necessarily cool with that, with the way you're doing it. So I'm going to go over here and fuck this hot chick. Oh, God, I'm a heel, too. I might as well have stayed with the Inner Circle.
Kai was flat out face, though.
Yeah, like, but then she started dating Sammy Guevara, and they shoved it in your face, and people don't like that.
That's what I was going to say. To me, it's reminiscent, and I said this a little bit beforehand, but it's reminiscent of Edge and Lita back in the day. It's very reminiscent to me of that. It is
also that's also, speaking of Edge and Lita, that's also why that's a heel thing. Because Edge and Lita became heels because they broke up a relationship to be with each other. And that's allegedly what also happened with fucking Ty. Sammy's like, I'm getting engaged. And someone's like, yeah, Ty Conti like posted like, I'm about to end this woman's whole career, and then she just steals her man, and now they're doing this.
Oh, she posted?
I think someone said that. Someone told me that. I haven't seen the picture.
I didn't know about
that.
But
if she actually did post, I'm gonna end this woman's whole career. There you go.
I do know that, and like we say, fans, especially AEW, like we just said, know a lot, and I do know Sammy was, in real life, supposedly he was with somebody else, and then Ty came along, and now
no one likes a cheater.
None of my fucking business.
No one likes a cheater, and they often blame the person that they cheated with as opposed to the cheater himself, despite the fact that they will admit they don't like the cheater. It's always been weird when you get the home wrecking. They always call the lady the home wrecker, but the real home wrecker is the dude that cheated.
I will say this much though. Everything they were doing with the whole Sammy Ty, Scorpio Sky, Men of the Year, America Top Team, featuring Paige Van Zandt for a match, Frankie Kazarian, I didn't have a problem with the build. The only thing that I had a problem with in this whole thing from the last time that we sat and talked about wrestling for this first Sunday shit, the only thing I had a problem with was them going to Dan Lambert's and stealing them belts like that was a big deal. That was dumb as shit. Everything else, I didn't have a problem with it. I was like, you're supposed to fucking hate these people. They're doing everything they're supposed to do to make you hate them. Yes, she's dressing super sexy now on purpose. He's being smug on purpose. They're licking each other and tonguing each other down to make you fucking hate them. Oh, you think they disgraced the TNT title, so they're really going to do it. That's the fucking point. Like, everything about it, I don't have a problem with it. But,
So what? Wait, you hate the fact that they stole the titles, but then you literally admitted that's the whole point, is that they're destroying the title.
No, this is what I'm saying. I didn't have a problem with them destroying the TNT title, like when he hit the TNT title and, destroyed it and all that shit. I thought them going over, and because, Dan Lambert is supposed to be a belt collector. So when they went to his place and stole those titles and then came there like, hey, Dan, we got your belts that have nothing to do with Ring of Honor or anything wrestling. And it was just like, I thought that was dumb.
Gotcha.
But everything else about it was just like good. I was just like, you're taunting this man with belts that really don't mean anything in the grand scheme of y'all.
They mean something
shit.
to him.
I get it. I just thought that was stupid. I just thought that particular part of it was stupid. But other than that, like, I don't have a problem. The entire wrestling world is like, they're almost at the level, if not almost past the level of go away heat with Sammy Ty and shit. And I don't have a problem with them. But the way people are reacting, they're almost like, yo, get them off my screen type shit.
Well, again, people don't like seeing people be happy. And it's classic textbook, especially if they are richer / quote unquote better looking than you.
Mm-hmm.
But we just said this deals highly with the internet wrestling community, so you can probably guess what percentage of the audience they probably look better than. And I say that as a member of the internet wrestling community, so shut up. The bottom line is for people like, how dare you insult people, bitch.
I know what you're getting at.
Anyway.
The fact that you like look at the camera, what the fuck? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Sam and Ty. Whatever. It's classic heel shit. And like you mentioned, Edge and Lita literally had a live sex celebration. Obviously, they weren't literally fucking, but they put a bed in the center of the ring and at the very least pretended to fuck in front of an entire audience.
I mean, shit, Lita grinded on dude, and you see fucking Edge pitch a tent for a second, and then fucking there was a total like fucking nip slip. So yeah, like you see Lita titty is like, oh shit, like you see that. So yeah, so they very much did that.
They went as close as possible. And who knows if there was? I'm just saying. They obviously aren't going to hardcore show any full-on penetration. That's why I was like,
bro. That's why I
said. That's the only reason I put that disclaimer of, at the very least, heavily suggested that, because there is technically gray area that maybe they didn't, but they definitely made you feel like they might be. And if that can happen and everybody be fine with it, I'm fine with what Sammy and Tay are doing. That's all.
Well, I mean, you talk about everybody be fine with it, but if you think about it, everybody wasn't fine with it. That was the whole point. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, in the heel sense, they're like, oh, boo, these people
are but not go away.
But people look at that now as like, haha, remember when Edge and Lita fucked in the ring? That shit was classic. And that's all this is. It's classic. Hey, what's a good heel tactic? I don't know. Be happy. People hate that. All right.
Isn't that funny? But what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, I slightly misspoke on the last episode. I have to do a little bit of an addendum and say when I talked about women who I say were I feel built up enough to take the title, I would add a Miss Jade Cargill to the list. But if you want my opinion, the way AEW has set up, I only see 3 women worthy of holding that title at said present time, and that is Jade Cargill, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker. Which is why when Serena Deeb challenged for it, I was like, bruh, she ain't winning this. And if Serena did win that title, it would have been a fucking outrage.
The only reason I thought that Serena had even an inkling of a chance is that Thunder Rosa's entrance wasn't
grandiose,
wasn't the dominant thing. Yeah, that's the other thing. They set it style. When you fight the Mexicans and they come out and they go 100% Mexico, you done. Viva la raza, muerte a you. Okay, like that's what's happening. Fucking Lucha Brothers, when they came out all full on Aztec fucking fires and rapping group, it's like, nah, they winning this match tonight. Same thing with Thunder Rosa's like full face paint. Dia de los Muertos, you are los Muertos. Wait, what? No, God.
all female mariachi band.
Yeah, like no, you're losing.
I
loved it. By the way, people,
are there any more Mexicans on the roster besides them? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 This is not ringing any bells right now for some reason.
The fucking boss music and boss entrance from the idol himself, El Idolo.
Oh, Andrade. Duh.
Andrade.
Well, you know, and now you got Mr. and Mrs. El Idolo. So,
yeah.
You know. Shout out to
like no, he's fucking terrible. When he comes out and he does the full on entrance, that motherfucker's probably whooping your ass too. Because like I said,
takes off the front of the shit. Yeah.
When he's got the fucking cigar too, like nah, he's done. If he doesn't have the cigar, you might have a shot. But like I said, when he goes all out for the entrance, nah, that boss music is a boss theme for a fucking reason. You're gonna fucking die.
Speaking of Mr. El Idolo, who is, not on the show at the moment, he teamed up with on Double or Nothing some dude in, pre-taped vignette, but he teamed up with some dude named Roosh. I don't know who that is because I don't know shit.
Also, I think someone said that's like one of his old tag team partners from back in the day. Probably doing Mexican wrestling or some shit, and it's like,
because
here we go.
He said that, which is very true, but he said that the Andrade family office, previously Hardy family office, is now, it's just a group of jobbers. He didn't say jobbers, but he's like, it's a group of people that basically lose the shit. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, the Bunny, she ain't winning nothing. Mm-hmm. Butcher and the Blade, they ain't winning nothing. Hybrid 2.0.
I frequently used him as an example of something I don't like about WWE. Oh, not AEW, my bad. I'm like, if you're talking about Hybrid 2.0, I don't need to see them on my screen.
Private Party is the closest to should be pushed to be something, but they don't.
They lose a lot too.
So, but otherwise, so when he said that, it was like, well, you kind of do pay attention, don't you, Tony? Or you at least know what's up, huh? Because they kind of don't mean nothing.
And the thing with the Private Party, what holds them back is the same thing that I felt holds Ricochet back, and it's not to slight them, but they just look too good at losing. Ricochet, it's real hard to push Ricochet as a dominant person because when he fucking loses, he loses in such a fantastic fashion that helps the other guy. Like, he does such a pretty finish whenever he gets his ass whooped, Ricochet, because he just ragdolls and pinballs all over the place. So when you see a guy that looks that good as a loser and you're trying to make somebody look good as a winner, it's like, yes, put them against Ricochet and have them beat Ricochet. He'll make them look amazing. And Private Party has a lot of good spot taking and stuff, too. Also, dude with the Screamer, whichever one of them does the fucking screaming spot every match, that shit's hilarious. But usually if he's doing that, he's getting his ass whooped. So he sets himself up to get his ass whooped every week. And that's the downside to being a really good seller is it's a real hard line to toe to try and be a good seller and be credible.
Shit, Keith Lee makes his debut and fucking throws the shit out of Isaiah Cassidy.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith Lee, he threw him around. Like, this is just like, hey. And that's what it looks like it's going to be the unfortunate life for Johnny Elite, someone who joined recently.
He didn't get the Is All Elite graphic, did he?
I don't know, but
I think he's getting his.
Well, nonetheless, Johnny Elite, he's what, 1-2? Because his first match he came back. I think he won in the pre-show for Double or Nothing.
No, pre-show for Double or Nothing. It was Hookhausen versus who the fuck was it? Hookhausen. Yeah, Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark.
That was one of the matches. I thought there was.
They only had one match for Double or Nothing. They only had one buy-in.
So no. Then where did I see? I know he's won one match.
I mean, I believe you enough.
He's had 3 matches and lost one. Yeah, because first he shows up to get bodied by Samoa Joe to keep the fucking tournament going. And what was his second match? Huh. Shout outs to Johnny Elite. Same birthday.
Oh, word.
Awesome. Anyway, whatever. Bottom line is, I'm pretty sure he had a match against somebody who was lesser than him, so they could at least give him one win. I don't remember when it was or who he bodied, but he bodied somebody, only to turn around and get bodied by a returning Miro this week. Because John Morrison is a very good and talented wrestler seller, and if you want to make somebody look good, put him up against him.
That man's still the shaman of sexy. That dude still looks good, man. That shit is crazy. Like, I saw it. I was like, this dude still looks fucking incredible. Like, he came out and I was like, dude.
And they let him keep the slow-mo.
Right. It was good to see Miro back.
Love me some Miro.
Shout out to CJ Perry for ruining the surprise-ish. She tweeted before it happened, like, she was like, I suddenly have a real desire to watch Dynamite tonight. It's like, come on, girl, really? Like, I'm not mad. I think it's funny.
Fair. He might have posted something similar. Maybe not like, I'm going to be on Dynamite this week, but one of those things where it's like, oh, dude's going up against a mystery opponent? Yeah, you guys really, really might want to check this shit out. And I love that. But speaking of that, someone pointed out MJF's whole promo. I hate my boss because he's not paying me enough money, and because of that, he's a fucking mark, and I'm going to leave the company to do so and so. Miro, I'm going to find God and kill him.
Yeah, he did say that. Basically the gist of what he said. Because his whole thing used to be my God, my God, I don't understand you, this, that. Now he's just like, yeah, my God, everything that you have done, I don't agree with, and you aren't my God, and now I will find you and destroy God. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, because he went from being, hi, I'm the best man at my friend's wedding or whatever, haha, video game, Miro, to, yeah, I found religion. What religion? The one that makes me champion. I'm God's favorite champion. I'm the redeemer. I will redeem you in God's life. Fuck right. Y'all, blah, blah, blah. And then he loses and he's like, God, why did you forsake me? I lost. And now I need neck surgery and I'm gone. Damn, God ruined my life. And so he comes back, God ruined my life. So fuck God. I'm going to find God and I'm going to kill God. Bro, wait a minute.
Like, yeah, no, yeah. The what they do, that's why, because they started him off as like a gamer. That's why his finisher is called
Game Over,
right?
Also, he streams on Twitch and shit. So yeah, he plays video games.
But what they do with Miro is incredible, and it is so good to see Miro back. The day CJ Perry pops up in AEW is gonna be crazy. Whenever that happens,
I'm surprised she hasn't, in all honesty, because with how much the fans love them, some CJ Perry, as well as other things. And CJ Perry was part of the reason Miro got over in the first place.
Yeah,
I'm being honest. I'm not saying anything against Miro, but people wanted to see the ravishing Russian every week.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, shit, before they even tried to make her anything but this woman he walked out with and announced him, people started chanting for Lana because Lana was sexy. So no shit. Like she started getting chanted just because she looked good, like before we even knew anything more to her. And then of course she got chanted because you find out that there's a level of charisma and whatever that she had and everything like that. But no, of course, I agree with you. And then we talk about, again, the world knows, or the wrestling world, AEW fan base knows so much behind the scenes. So seeing Miro with his woman, everybody be like, oh, shit. Right. Because if you think about it, Britt, Adam Cole win the Owen Hart, like inaugural Owen Hart Cup. I'm assuming inaugural, but inaugural Owen Hart Cup, because obviously they wanted to do the power couple. What other couples are there really in AEW besides what? Adam and Britt, Sammy and Ty. So, right. A lot of people are speculating that they are going to try, speculation, but a lot of people are speculating that they're going to try and do something, keep this going for a minute with the whole Adam Cole, Britt Baker on-screen power couple thing, and then have them have a face-off with Gargano and Candice LeRae. That would be fucking crazy.
Oh wait, they had Cody and never mind.
Right. A lot of people are saying that they're gonna have Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano come in and try to face off with them, which would be fucking nuts.
Because Mia Yim ain't shown up to be with Keith Lee.
Facts.
Although that would probably go over well because people love them some Mia Yim.
And we know good and goddamn well Charlotte fucking Flair is not.
Not anytime soon. Anyway,
not anytime soon. Charlotte is too big of a fucking deal in WWE for good reason.
I mean,
too big.
She would also be a really big deal in AEW.
Right, but I mean, she's too big of a deal right now.
That their last name, Flair. You can't be. Right. Which I don't understand why WWE suddenly forgot that.
What?
The last name, the importance of that when it comes to building a fucking star. Because lately with all the legacies, they've been having them change their names to not be associated with their parents. But then they go on TV and acknowledge that their parents are who the parents are. And it's like, well, then give them the fucking name so that your random Joe Nobody can see that, like, oh shit, that's Mr. Perfect's son, that's so-and-so's kid, that's this person's kid. Yeah, Michael McGillicuddy. And then fucking Braun Breaker. I don't know why you don't use the Steiner name. The Steiner name holds a lot of weight in the wrestling thing. Oh shit, that's Steiner's kid. Also, Braun Breaker's if you even use his regular last name of Rex Steiner, guess what? He was he was a Baltimore Raven for multiple years. You could play as him in Madden.
Holy shit.
Like, why would you? Or how about Simone Johnson or whatever the fuck her name is?
Well, I was just about to say.
Because they changing her name too.
No, I was just about to say that reportedly with her, she chose to go by a different name because she didn't want to have like
all right
the whole
then don't Rock, tell anybody then name. I don't want to hear The Rock's name once while she's on screen.
I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, she chose to do that.
I don't want to hear The Rock's name once while she's on screen from any of the commentators or anything. If she chose, like, she doesn't want to be associated by The Rock because she doesn't want people to say that she only got her career because she's The Rock's daughter, then don't mention it at all. And if you're going to pretend that you're not The Rock's daughter, then pretend you're not The Rock's daughter. And that's all I'm saying. And with WWE, if they're going to pretend that, Rex Steiner's not related to the dude, then don't mention him. You didn't mention that the Rotundas were the sons of IRS.
No, they didn't do that. That's true. They, what else? I mean, Cody Rhodes never tried to distance himself from that. So, but then like before or after returning. And then, of course, in AEW, the whole Gun Club. So,
Yeah, because it just makes fucking sense. Or the Ass Boys, as they're known now.
Which is fucking hilarious.
I partially feel bad for them because they clearly don't like being called the Ass Boys. But I mean, your dad was Billy Gunn, a.k.a. Mr. Ass. And that's why he seems to be embracing the whole Ass Boys thing because, why not? They had a cool name like Gun Club. They're like, yeah, we're the Gun Club. Look how fucking jacked we are. Ass Boys. No.
The funniest thing to me.
But the Acclaimed are hilarious because they're fucking driving it even further.
Well, I was going to say the funniest thing to me in AEW, and I thought about this for a minute, and this isn't me shitting on, this is just me, like, when I look at it, I'm like, damn, The fucking heels in AEW have the most call and response out of damn near any fucking body. With the acclaim have arrived. Ass boys, all that shit, right? DMD, Adam Cole, baby. We gonna sing Judas. I'm like, these are all fucking heels. Like,
MJF.
What the fuck? Yeah, better than you, you know, all that. I'm like, what? It's like the fucking faces don't have that much. Like, they got to have no chance. They don't have that much call and response, say it with me shit.
Well, and that's also why
so
I think
crazy.
I mentioned on Whatever We Want back when, I'm like, the only thing I see with AEW is like it's real hard for them to have true heels that people boo. And even MJF is starting to leave that category because now he's doing his thing. Heel. Because he was a heel that tried to make sure that you booed him every week and did a damn good job of it. But now he's on his whole me versus the boss campaign, which, you know, kills any heel momentum.
It's hard to hate a motherfucker doing that.
So there's that whole idea. So especially when they don't give you the whole story. Now you could have, and that's why I said if they wanted to keep him a heel or at least keep some kind of nuance to it, you do have Tony come out and be like, "What are you talking about? I gave you this," you know. At least present the other argument.
They probably will.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what are you guys doing? I don't know. I feel like it's a work because things. But even if it is a work, that don't mean that they're not doing good performances. The fact that we're even questioning it means they're doing a damn good job.
Facts. It started off as very much shoot shit, and then they turned it into a work shoot, if you will.
It's funny when you shoot yourself into a mark and mark your way into a shoot, you mark so whatever the fuck that Hulk Hogan tweet is.
Thoughts on Hookhausen?
Hilarious.
I fucking love it.
Danhausen's hilarious. Hook's awesome. Hilariously awesome.
I fucking love it.
And considering Hook is apparently now the youngest of the AEW stars, it's a very safe way to keep him on TV, build him up as a super face, without actually having him do anything of note.
Go ahead.
He comes out there, whoops someone's ass while everyone's happy to see him and Danhausen. They can be over as shit while like just in this corner of AEW. Exactly.
He and if you look too, he graduated from Rampage, working his way up through Rampage, Dynamite. Then he's on the pre-show buy-in for pay-per-view. So Hook worked his way up, right? But yeah, and the Danhausen thing, like, I love it. I do wish that they would kind of let Danhausen actually do a little more wrestling, but I'm not mad about it.
Saturday they had fucking Johnny. They had like a little dark pre thing with AEW,
that's why I didn't know about
online exclusive. Johnny Elite beat the shit out of that guy to spray shit on people for the Young Bucks.
Brandon Cutler? That's why I didn't know about that shit.
I said they had him just shit on somebody.
Okay, right. What was I gonna say? But no, I was talking to my big brother, and I was saying that I see Hookhausen reminiscent of. He said their Rock and Sock connection reminiscent, and definitely I said Booker T and Goldust reminiscent a little bit more. But he's
if I have to pick between one of those two, and I can't just enjoy it for what it is, I guess they're more of a Booker T and Goldust ripoff. But I thought I feel like it is something I guess I've seen before, but they're more Booker T and Goldust than they are Rock and Sock. But I never really got that vibe from either of them.
There's a difference between saying something is like reminiscent or homage and saying something is a ripoff, bro. I'm just saying reminiscent of it. I'm saying it reminds me of it. It's its own thing. It just reminds me of blah, blah, blah. The rapper B.O.B. got compared to Andre 3000 because when he first started, people thought he reminded him of that to an extent.
Who?
They are very much different. B.O.B. You know what the fuck that is. I got the magic in me. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? Never mind.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Nothing on you, babe. Nothing on you.
Yeah.
You know, before anybody knew who Bruno Mars was. But yeah. So being reminiscent of something or whatever there's a difference between reminiscent of ripping off. I'm not saying they're ripping off. I'm just saying they remind me of. But I would say the thing is, Big Bro was saying that they remind him a little bit more of Rock and Sock than Booker T and Goldust because he said you got the one dude that is more like real, no nonsense, whatever, and then the crazy, cuckoo, whatever. I said Booker T Goldust, but he was like, nah, because if you look at it, Booker T was nuts too, and I was like, that's a good point.
Booker T leaned more into the fact that it was a comedic duo.
Yeah, because if you look at it, Booker T was out of his mind too. Just not as out of his mind as Goldust, but he was out of his mind too.
Fair. So. I think Hook is different. I think they're different from both of them, especially because Rock and Sock, Rock was fully fucking established as the goddamn Rock. Also known for coming out and cutting promos and killing you with like words for like a half hour. Hook don't talk about shit.
Right.
Hook doesn't say a damn word. Yeah, Hook doesn't really say a damn word. It's all like just Danhausen's here. Hook just happens to be here, and Danhausen's like, very nice, very evil. I'm attaching myself to Hook. Okay, cool. And like, cool, Danhausen gets to win now. Pretty much. So that's what I like. And people that I don't understand, but I understand why they're getting pushed. Yeah, if I was to understand why they are as popular as they are, not necessarily. Danhausen, I kind of get it because hilarious. The kids like the face paint. And very nice, very evil. Also, apparently, he worked with Conan O'Brien to come up with the character. Conan O'Brien, comedic genius, as we all know. So you got that. Adam Cole. I like Adam Cole. He's a great wrestler. I do not understand why is a thing to the level that it is. Because let me tell you, at the same time, I'm glad AEW is pushing it. Because I'm glad AEW is pushing both of them. Because unlike the other company who thought, yeah, I don't see any star potential in this guy.
Which is crazy. Like, they were going to make him a manager and cut his career or something.
Yeah, Adam Cole, apparently he might have had that Butch gimmick. But been a manager. The Adam Page... Oh, sorry. I keep saying Adam Page when I'm talking about Adam Cole. Mainly just because I like making the joke of Adam Page, baby. But no, Adam Cole, great wrestler. But does he look like a guy that should be as popular as he is? No. When he's in the ring, is he wowing me with some kind of, I'm flipping off of shit, like Jeff Hardy, Darby Allin style thing? No, he's more of the technical genius, he's more of the technical side of things. And even then, he's just, I can think of other wrestlers that are technically more sound than him. Granted, he is younger than me, so more room to grow and all that. And yes, I understand people like yelling things with the wrestler. But for the arena to go as loud as it does, with the Adam Cole baby zooming out to the crowd as you would on a yes chant thing type deal, which also not sure why that got as big as it did, but it did. And whatever, I was here for it. At least WWE, it took them an extra year, but at least they eventually realized, oh wait, yeah, the crowd fucking likes this guy. We should probably push him. Like, and I don't understand how you look at that. Even if you don't get it, I don't understand how you look at the way the crowd is into this dude and not be like, yeah, he needs to be on TV. He clearly prints money. Do I get the Undisputed Era being as popular as they are? No. I feel like I'm kind of with Vince where I feel like if I was only judging by appearance, they're mid-carders. However, they clearly have the star power to not be. I don't have to get it. And that's my point. It's like I don't get Adam Cole, but I guess I don't have to. Good shit, Adam Cole. Clearly the man has more charisma than me. The only reason I'm saying this is because I think someone finally posted something online that was like, okay, I'm gonna be that guy. Does anybody else actually get the whole Adam Cole thing?
I love it.
I like yelling Adam Cole, baby.
I like Adam Cole too. I think he's great on the mic. I think he's great on the mic. I think he's great in the ring. I'm not saying that you don't think any of this, but I think he's great on the mic. I think he's great in the ring. I think that he doesn't look like overly star. Like you look at Jade Cargill, you like that woman does something important. I'm following her. She's a star. Like Jade Cargill is that. You don't look at Adam Cole necessarily think that, but then you see the man do what he does, and you're like, holy shit, that man exudes charisma. So I love it. The only thing that like I said is, and this isn't me saying anything bad about it. The only thing I say is like that man is that much of a heel getting a face response. That's my shit. But otherwise, no, I love this shit.
I just don't, like I said, I understand why people like him. I don't understand why it's to the degree that it is. It's weird. But more power to him. I'm not trying to disparage him. I'm just saying I don't understand how we got here. That's all. But it is what it is. I have no problem with us being here. It's one of those things where I'm like, see, now this is organic, I guess is the best way I can put it. Where the crowd likes it.
Because I already said I don't like the yes chant, and I'm that one party pooper motherfucker that when the whole crowd is going yes, I don't do it because I think it's dumb from Jump Street with Daniel Bryan. But that's just me. I think that the fact that this man just ran to the ring yelling yes out of nowhere, and then everybody hopped on it and started doing it.
Technically, he started doing it when he finally won his championship.
I think everything about it is like.
To be fair, when he first started
if people do it, have fun.
To be fair, when he first started doing it, it was, hey, he finally won a fucking championship. Yes, I finally did it. Yes, yes, yes. But then they decided to turn it into a thing where he'd obnoxiously do it. But the crowd was still into it because, oh my God, we've been rooting for Daniel Bryanson to do this stuff for so long. And he finally got some respect in WWE and they gave him a belt. So yeah, we're also chanting yes right along with them. And then he decided he'd do it obnoxiously till he's a heel. But rather than people souring on it, they loved him too much and they kept doing it.
It became like when WWE was obviously not going with Daniel Bryan when it was Daniel Bryan's time. It was a way for the fans to get behind Daniel Bryan and defiantly chant for him. I get it.
When it finally looped back to being yes again, because it was no for a while because he was trying to.
They were trying to get everybody not to do it because they didn't want to.
And they just start doing no instead. And it's like, okay, well, this is just the thing now. Yes, yes, no. And like the what chant, because I didn't get the what's when they started, but man etched himself into history forever.
Like that stuff's still there.
Things you will hear at every fucking wrestling show. The yes chants, the what chants, and woo! You will always hear if there's any kind of silence in the audience, the woos will come out. Like in your area of the audience, at least somebody's gonna be like, "Woo, woo!"
Let somebody in a wrestling ring do a chop.
Oh,
even if it's independent, let them do a chop. There you go.
Woo!
Speaking of Mr. Woo, have you heard about Mr. Ric Flair talking about in the age that he is wanting to come back for at least one more match?
Are you surprised?
I want to say no, but I'm not. I mean, I want to say yes, but I'm not.
Yeah, like okay, yes, I've
Yes,
heard, but to answer your question, no, I wasn't. I heard, and no, I wasn't surprised either.
He's even
It's
been
Rick.
posting.
He just it is just if he does, I don't know. Well, WWE might, but I don't know because WWE is weird nowadays with what they do and decide to support and acknowledge from their history and stuff like that. I don't think AEW will because they're already under hot water with the whole
Oh yeah.
women topic thing. And because of that whole plane flight from hell thing, both companies I know want to dissociate themselves from Ric Flair.
Well, the thing that I saw with it, because Ric Flair is very much talking about coming back, and Ric Flair been posting, videos here and there of him like training like in a wrestling ring or exercising in the gym or whatever the fuck. And the thing that got me was there was talks about Ric Flair wanting to come back against Hulk Hogan. And the two things that I first thought about with that was
I don't want to see him versus Hogan.
You got two dudes who are very much up there in age, and two dudes who, especially Hulk Hogan, had severe controversy. And I'm just like, but when people talk about it, the controversy for the most part doesn't seem to be mentioned. So I'm like, have we all moved past this? Not that I'm mad about it. I'm just like, because neither of the controversies seem to be mentioned. But I'm just like, up there in age, controversy, especially with, a Mr. Hogan. And I'm just like, but nobody talks about, it's just interesting.
I don't want to see Hogan wrestle somebody. He come out, do a leg drop, get a pop, sure, whatever. It's Hulk Hogan. Ric Flair, I technically don't necessarily need to see him have a whole ass wrestling match either. However, the difference between him and Hogan is I've gone on record in the past, like, if that motherfucker wants to get back in the ring, he can. Ever since the fucking plane crash and doctors told that man he couldn't wrestle again, I'm like, that, and then he proved them wrong by wrestling for like another 30 years. I'm like, man's gonna wrestle as much as he wants. You can't stop Ric Flair from being Ric Flair. I'm fine with it in that regard. If he comes back, I don't want to see it against Hogan. I want to see it against, I don't know, anybody other than Hogan, because at least when Flair was doing stuff, he was known for being a great worker and all of that. Hogan, quote unquote, wasn't a good worker even when he was on the top.
It's the whole thing of you got some people who, no matter how big they are or not, are amazing wrestlers, and then you got some people that are just ridiculous, just like ridiculously exude charisma, but aren't necessarily that technically sound. Hulk Hogan was the dude that man was raw, and even more so when he became Hollywood Hogan with Nash, rest in peace, Scott Hall. That man was WCW.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's charisma is beyond the stratosphere when he back in the day. But in the ring, he knew how to put on a match to give you what you wanted.
Which was Hulk Hogan winning.
Bret Hart, he ain't. Bret Hart, he ain't.
Hulk Hogan sure as hell knew how to win a match.
The man was he's not Bret Hart. Like, no, he's not Bryan Danielson. No. Eddie Guerrero, no.
He's not
like
Ric
that
Flair.
Shit, no. Yeah, he's not Ric Flair. But I mean, I'll put it like this.
But what I'm that's the only reason I said that. Then like, well, if that fucking guitar starts playing, am I gonna lose my shit? Still to this day, in light of everything, yes.
Fuck you.
Am I still gonna lose my shit if that music hits? Yes, I'm not saying that. Seeing Hulk Hogan on my screen, I have no problem with. Seeing Hulk Hogan do a whole ass match when the man's shrunk from how much wrestling has hurt his body and stuff. And so he's definitely been hit by the age thing against other old man Ric Flair. where they're both out of their prime and far removed, but at least one of them was known for being technically sound in his prime, while the other, when he was at his physical peak, still didn't necessarily put on the best matches. He just gave you the results you wanted. Like I said, like you mentioned, he knew how to give you the results you wanted out of a match.
He knew how to give a good match up to a point.
Yeah, he knew how to get the crowd to lose their shit, and that was Hulk Hogan winning the match. And how do you do that? You do these 3 or 4 things. The school that John Cena eventually learned from. All you gotta do, and John Cena, I will say, was more technically sound than Hulk Hogan, because I'm not trying to put them in the exact same book.
That is true.
I'm not trying to put them in the exact same book. Cena was more technically sound than people give him credit for.
He really was.
Nonetheless, John Cena did heavily study from the book of Hogan. Very good promos. 3 or 4 things that you do really well, and you do those same 4 things every fucking match. If you do the good promos, people are going to want to see you in the ring. If you're in the ring, do the things you're known for doing. People want to see you win because you're charismatic. Win the match. Hogan did it. He had the fucking hear this leg drop. Yeah, I'm Hulk Hogan. I am a real, and people ate that shit because that's all they needed to see when the Hulk Hogan match. Everything else was just filler to get to the fucking Hulk Hogan. Point at the Hulking out. Fuck you. Leg drop time. I'm Hulk Hogan. John Cena, do all he can, get his ass whooped, actually put in a lot, like I said, put in a lot more work than a Hogan to get to the point to where he shoulder block, put him down, jack off reference, F you, 1, 2, 3, because 5 knuckle shuffle is like a parody for jacking off.
He wouldn't actually do it. I
said jack off reference.
I know what you mean.
The 5 knuckle shuffle. And then fucking 1, 2, 3. Yeah, John Cena won. So he studied from the book of Hogan and learned really fucking well. Don't get this wrong. Cater to the kids. Say your prayers. Eat your vitamins. Hustle, loyalty, respect. Treat people well. Rise above hate, kids. Do that. Because while the book of, Stone Cold is also a good book that people need to study if they also want to just go to the fucking top. You know what I mean? That's a good book to read, but unfortunately, the Book of Stone Cold or the Book of Rock, while they have a lot of success wrestling, and obviously they're Mount Rushmore type level of wrestlers, they don't last that long. Their reigns didn't last that long. Your Hogans and your Cenas, longevity.
CM Punk studied from the book of Stone Cold.
There you go.
Don't trust anybody. Fucking dude, every time he went out, it was like the fucking real person believed what he said. Every time CM Punk talked, every time fucking Austin talked.
Let me read it because I was gonna say the Rook. I was gonna reference another book, but I gotta say CM Punk studied from the book of Austin, but Austin studied from someone who was able to, and Austin says this. He studied from the book of Flair.
He says,
which is another one.
He said several times on Broken Skull sessions, if you watch those, that Ric Flair is his GOAT. So he said that.
Yeah, he studied from the book of Flair where, all right, I got a wrestling persona. And it's a similar book to the Taker study where it's, fine, I'm this person now. This is who I am in, outside the ring. Ric Flair once he decided I'm going to be Ric Flair, the high-flying, limousine-riding, blah, 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 as a character. Now, I'm going to do that in real life. I'm going to go do this show, and then I'm going to go to the bar, buy everybody's drinks, sleep with half the women there, assumedly consensually, until the Plane Ride from Hell video came out. And even then, I don't think there was any sleeping with done, but it was like still unwanted advances.
Well, I mean,
what I was
say,
told. I said I don't think. I could be wrong. He could be a terrible person, but that's why I said they probably don't want to distance. They want to distance themselves from Flair.
No, I was gonna say Jay Lethal said, I saw a clip of him on Chris Van Vliet's interview, and Jay Lethal said he hung out with Ric Flair at one point, and he said Ric Flair really in real life is a fucking ladies man, flat out. So there you go.
Yeah, like there have been. Now, I don't go on the internet looking for these things, and I'm sure there's numerous random things in forums or posts somewhere on the internet about other complaints, possibly. I'm not saying that there's a 0% chance that those are out there. I'm saying that I haven't seen them. The only real complaint I had seen about Ric Flair was that Dark Side of the Ring Plane Flight from Hell episode. For the most part, it seemed women were in on it. Like, they were up for it. They're like, yeah, Ric Flair, that's that dude. Why not? For whatever reason, because dude oozed charisma. But that's not even where I was going. I was just going more so. He was like, my character on TV is who I am in real life. And Stone Cold saw that and was like, my character on TV is who I am in real life.
Yeah.
That is who I am, and it's a way to take you to the top. Flair managed to do it for a hell of a lot longer. Not saying that Stone Cold couldn't have, but Flair managed to do it for a lot longer. That's why I was like, it's more like the Book of Flair. Because CM Punk, who I am on TV, who I am in real life, what you see, what you get.
Right.
Maybe I'm turned up to 11 for TV, but this is me.
Bringing it back to full circle what we were saying though. If Ric Flair wants to come back, man, I'm not gonna tell anybody per se like, yo, don't come back, because the thing is, my lots in life, which making music and even more so acting, they don't have an expiration date. Unfortunately, athletic shit does have an expiration date because the mind is willing, but the body just kind of stops. Now, fortunately, when it is something where it's not fake, but it's predetermined, and the whole point is to not injure the person that you're in the ring with, then it makes it where you can go a little bit longer. So you can definitely find ways around it.
Taker versus Goldberg didn't pan out that well, and these men are older than both of them.
That's why I was going to say, if Ric Flair comes back, I'm going to watch it. If Hogan comes back, still little, but I'm still gonna watch it. So especially Flair comes back, whatever fucking company, that's licensed to print money. But no, like you said, Undertaker, Goldberg, that was very much the unfortunate part of. So do we tell them?
Well, that's more why I said I don't want to see Flair versus Hogan or Hogan versus Flair. If Flair comes back and he wants to fight someone that's younger than him and still been wrestling and good enough to help carry that match, then definitely, sure. I'm pretty sure he's like 2 degrees removed, a disciple of Flair anyway. So Bryan Danielson would be a great thing to have Flair come against. But even if it's not necessarily a Bryan Danielson, like even if it is someone, hell, I'd be happy with Flair Jericho. It ain't gotta be like young. It's just, hey, someone younger than a fucking Hogan that like can still go. If I'm gonna see Hulk Hogan come back, an old man, and wrestle a fellow old man that probably shouldn't be getting his ass back in the ring either, I want it to be Iron Sheik, just because Iron Sheik talks mad shit on Hulk Hogan.
But the thing is,
and I love it. I follow Iron Sheik. That is one of the highlights of my day. Just opening Twitter and just seeing a random Iron Sheik quote.
Like, what the fuck shit. And like the funniest way possible.
I don't actually want to see Hulk Hogan versus Iron Sheik.
No, because I was gonna say Iron Sheik. Like, I know you're not being serious, but the Iron Sheik, fucking the gimmick battle royal they had back in WrestleMania 17, and now it's been 20 of those since, and fucking WrestleMania fucking 17, they had the the gimmick battle royal, and Iron Sheik had to win because his hips were so messed up he could not take a bump physically. That man, 20 years later, damn show could not get in the ring. Like, and I'm not making it up. They like that's.
I hear
that's
you. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just laughing. That's all.
Well,
but no, Hulk Hogan versus But that's why I said though, like if Hulk Hogan do a whole match, but no, you want them on the screen every week. You want Hogan to randomly leg drop somebody every once in a while. Let's say Hogan comes back if Hogan or Flair came back in a Sting-like role and then got themselves back into wrestling shape, because Sting, when he first came back, was more just, I'm just here for Darby, and I might hit someone with a battle too. And now once he got back in shape, he's jumping off of shit, and now he's a wrestler just like the wrestler. That's a thing, AEW. Why is that not an issue when we talk about issues with AEW? How much they enable people to fucking kill themselves. And I'm fine with it. I love it, the entertainment, and I understand the drug that entertainment is. There was a time when I was a kid, before I had like the joints of someone who had been doing it without having actually done it. There was a time where I considered going into wrestling and taking that path to fame. Fuck my body. My body's whatever. I'm going to put it on the line because I want that pop. I want that idolation from the fans. AEW is just full of fucking enablers. Jeff Hardy, who's not a mention on this topic, but he should be.
Yeah, we need to talk about it.
Injured himself against Darby Allin, because we were talking about that in that match that had no business happening, because those two... I said it when Jeff Hardy had his first match in AEW, and he just pulled the ladder out of nowhere when they were in the lobby. I'm like, who the fuck gave Jeff Hardy a ladder? He can't control himself with this, and he jumps off the goddamn ceiling. And it's like, what the fuck, Jeff?
One, two, the butcher and the blade.
Who were on a table. Like, in through tables. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Jeff, you just got here, and you found a ladder somewhere in the lobby of this arena, and decided to jump off of it, because he can't help himself. So there's that. And again, I love me some Jeff. Happy to see him on my screen. Nonetheless, man has had numerous demons because of this habits of his. And in AEW, I can't think of a match that he's had where he hasn't at least tried to do some kind of stupid bump and hurt himself.
To be fair, to an extent, AEW has gotten flack for not necessarily stopping matches or whatnot when they should have, because when Matt Hardy took that nasty bump, and I forget what the pay-per-view was, and he took like a nasty bump, was out on his feet, obviously concussed, and they didn't stop the match and let Matt continue, and it was very bad. People were outraged off of that shit. And then with what's happening with Jeff, not like a huge outcry, but some people are being like, let him do that. The thing is that obviously we want Jeff to get better. No shit. He got pulled out of the 5-man that they were gonna have.
Good, because the motherfucker had the match against Darby and injured himself, wrestled some indie shows, and then went on the pay-per-view.
And did double another. And I was gonna say, right, yeah, and it was just like, it's like, who does, like you said, who doesn't want to see Jeff do that? But like, obviously they had plans for the Hardys when Jeff got there. They dressing like their old selves back in the fucking Attitude Era.
Same music,
trying to do the moves. Then obviously they were eventually like taunting the delete. They were eventually going to go to the broken shit that everybody's waiting on that Matt did without Jeff, with no fucking crowd because lockdown. So they were going to try to obviously do it again. And then this happened. They even going against the Bucks, who they said were Hardy's cosplayers, and then they cosplayed like the Hardys. Clearly they were setting this shit up. Jeff unfortunately got injured. So yeah. They even talked about it. If you listen to this week's Talk is Jericho, they were talking about some of the stuff that they were doing, and they were talking about it as if they were planning on making this some serious shit. But I remember watching Hardys versus Bucks at Double or Nothing and thinking, wow, this match kind of ain't that good. It didn't really get that good until the end. And a lot of what it was the Hardys being older, let's say what it is, but at the same time, Jeff was laying down most of that match, obviously hurting. Then his boot seemed to fucking come apart, which didn't help nothing. So yeah, if you got to take a break, you got to take a break, man. And I don't know if this means because they threw who's a Hikaleo or whatever in there. I don't know if this means that what's his name, Adam Cole is injured too, or if that was just a thing they did. But if Adam Cole, if Jeff Hardy is injured, CM Punk is injured, and Adam Cole is injured, wow.
But it seems like you can catch a case of the AEW shortly after being there, and if you're not jumping off of something, you're wearing a crimson mask within weeks. Now, because that just seems to be the thing. Because Sting's old ass is like, fuck it, I'm jumping off of ledges too. What the fuck, Sting? You don't have to prove shit to nobody. You have no need to do this aside from the pop though.
That's true.
Jon Moxley, great actor, great wrestler. He went to rehab. We all know it. I don't know if he's still acting and just that good of an actor. I can give him the benefit of the doubt, but damn, it sure is like he might have fallen. It sure seems sometimes like he might have fallen right the fuck back off that wagon.
Obviously, he didn't. I know you're joking, right?
I hear you, and I hope he didn't fall right the fuck back off that wagon. But then you see some of the shit that he's still willing to do, and some of the ways he still acts, and I'm like, are we sure? That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not trying to judge the man's character. I even referred to it as demons. I'm just saying AEW is a very enabling atmosphere. I wouldn't be surprised. That's all.
What was I going to say?
Because there was rumors that Moxley might go back to WWE briefly, like if Roman Reigns really is planning on leaving soon, because there's rumors out there that he might be.
There are rumors out there, yeah.
If he is, there's also rumors that Moxley might take a break from AEW for one last Shield run, because the Shield are actually homies in real life. And if there is one last Shield run, if, Roman's actually going away, Moxley would probably go back for a brief time just to do one last Shield run. If that happens, like my roommate and I were like, you know what? Especially after this last week on Dynamite where Moxley, hey, look at that Crimson Mask thing for no fucking reason out of nowhere. It's like, Moxley, you just fucking, every match, you're just bleeding all over. Like, I'm a fight, and now I'm doing blood and guts too. It's like, you know what? If he wants to take a break to go to WWE for shit's tamer, he probably deserves it at this point, so the man doesn't die.
I'd rather see Tyler Black and Leotti come to fucking AEW, but obviously that's not gonna fucking happen.
No, Roman's WWE for life at this point.
That's not gonna happen.
He's WWE or nothing. Seth's WWE or nothing too. The way he talks about AEW.
Right. Well, that's like, like I was joking about Charlotte, but we're not gonna see Ashley Flair come into fucking AEW. That's not
right. That has a better chance than the other two, but that's only because Andrade's there. That has a better chance than them coming over. That has a better chance than the other Shield coming to AEW and becoming like the Aegis or some shit. But it's still not happening. As far as Charlotte, Andrade has a better chance of leaving AEW to go to WWE than the vice versa.
Some people are speculating. Well, not some people. I watched Steven Larson. Shout out to Steven Larson, and I forget who. I believe Steve, I hope I'm not misquoting, but one of them has been speculating that they think that before all is said and done, Jericho is going to jump back. So, I don't know. I don't think so.
Why? Because he's doing the sports entertainment gimmick?
No, they just think that at some point down the line, not just like anytime soon, but just period, they feel like Jericho's going to jump back.
One thing I will give Jericho is, for the most part, he's still been on the whole you don't have to hate WWE to like AEW thing.
Bryan Danielson too.
And at the same time, he will also go out there and tell you that half the gimmicks he had in WWE or AEW or WWE has stupid creative with bad ideas. So who knows? And he decided to base his whole gimmick on everything wrong with WWE nowadays, even though I fucking love it. With the Jericho Appreciation Society. He's like, how do I become a heel in AEW considering I'm Chris fucking Jericho? I know. AEW call myself a WWE superstar.
WWE Galaxy.
Yeah, AEW Galaxy, recognize us.
No, appreciate us.
Appreciate us. That's what it was.
Clearly acknowledge me, right? What was I gonna say? Okay, so also me and Big Bro, we unintentionally, because we bought tickets purposely to see AEW when they come here in St. Louis in 2 weeks on the 15th. We unintentionally bought tickets to a special Dynamite, so we're going to go to their Road Rager because they weren't calling it Road Rager until after the tickets were purchased. So that's kind of cool. Before we go ahead and close this out, real quick, Stephanie McMahon is taking an indefinite leave of absence, which is.
I thought they fired her in Triple H.
What made you think that?
I had heard they fired her in Triple H because it's Nick Khan's show now.
No, Nick Khan
and Vince hates Triple H now, apparently. Because NXT, that's why he cut him off of NXT, took away his fucking COO position and all this stuff because NXT lost to AEW in the ratings, which they shouldn't have had them go head to head anyway.
Right. The AEW purposely went on a night that WWE was not broadcasting to not make a competition. And then, except for the recorded, obviously, and then they went ahead and made it live to do that, But no, Stephanie she's taking an indefinite leave of absence. Stephanie was very much with the company. She posted on her Twitter a few weeks ago, I'm taking an indefinite leave of absence, for vacation or whatever. And I mean, at the end of the day, all the fucking McMahons, have put in, even Linda, but especially Vince, Shane, Stephanie. They put in a lot of fucking time behind the scenes. Stephanie has been there and put in a lot of time behind the scenes, for better or worse, whatever the fuck. So more power to you, man. Take a fucking leave of absence.
Yeah.
Get your mind right. Do what you got to do.
Especially if it's voluntary.
Right. Especially if it's voluntary. Before we go ahead and close this mug out, man, who should be the next team to win the tag team titles? We'll go through every title. Who do you think should be the next team to win it?
Which company?
Oh, well, AEW.
Okay. I wanted fucking Swerve and Our Glory to win it.
Really?
They're fucking godlike. I like the team. I don't think they need to be a jobber tag team like they're trying to make them out to be. If you're just going to have them lose a lot, don't put them as a tag team. That team should be fucking ridiculous. You got Keith Lee and Swerve, who, again, while I'm not necessarily the biggest Isaiah Swerve Scott fan or a Swerve Strickland fan, the charisma is undeniable. And I also like the team because I'm looking at that team and I'm like, yeah, this team should be unstoppable because no matter what you do to them, you'll never be able to hit them as hard as they're feeling themselves. And so, am I wrong?
They both have a different way of being like, I'm the shit. Deal with it. Like they both have different aspects of displaying I'm the shit, deal with it. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
My thing was when they had a triple threat, if you want my opinion, I didn't want any of those teams really had the titles really, but if anybody was going to leave with the titles that wasn't Jurassic Express, I wanted it to be Starks and Hobbs simply because Swerve and Our Glory is the shit and they should get the titles, but Starks and Hobbs has just been there longer. So if they were going to give them the title. Now, if you want me to say who I think should get the titles next, Proud and Powerful. Proud and Powerful deserving fucking
Which
titles.
one's Proud and Powerful?
Santana and Ortiz. They call themselves Proud and Powerful.
They at the very least need to get the fucking tag team shot.
They need.
You broke up Jericho Inner Circle because they were talking about not getting enough not enough attention as a tag team, and you just put them in another faction that has nothing to do with the tag team championship.
Right. It's not a faction like because of a name, but it is, right?
Oh yeah. By the way, do you still hate Eddie Kingston?
I don't hate the man, but he's not super entertaining to me. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just being honest. The man can put on a good match. The man can put on a good promo from time to time. But I really don't want this to come off bad, but how can it not? A lot of times,
what can he do? What can he do to fix it?
Boring. I don't know, man. He was the catalyst when, like a year ago, maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, when me and Big Bro were watching AEW, especially him, and I was trying to get into it, and we were watching it not together per se, but separate. And he was the catalyst when I was working, and so I would watch the replay. He was the catalyst that got me to slowly kind of fall out of watching AEW at the time, because I was like, I don't care about who is this guy.
Damn, man, ruined AEW for you. Holy shit! I got
back into it, but he.
I didn't realize you were that against the.
He just ruined the man is not interesting to me.
The man is fucking hilarious.
I'm not going to say all the time, but most of the time, the man is not interesting to me.
All right, yeah.
Like when I tell you when it was lockdown, no crowd AEW, and he was coming out doing promos.
Well, this is why I say I'm weird. This is why I say I'm weird.
I'm the weird one.
No. This is why I say I'm weird. Because I stated it earlier. I don't necessarily need my wrestlers to be 5-star technical masters of everything, especially if that's clearly not what they're going for with the character. I don't expect Eddie Kingston to come out and give me a fucking Michelin star performance. I expect him to be some dude that's coming down. He's mad for insert reason here, which you get. You get lots of reasons why this guy is angry. And he's just here to fight people. And he comes out there and he fights people. And it ain't pretty. It's not supposed to be. That guy is clearly just some dude that probably drinks a lot. And according to his storylines, he does now. Because, he drinks to drown his demons, but his demons can swim. That's his words, not mine. And right before that match, he's like, I don't want to do this match, Jericho, because I'm afraid of what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to fucking kill you. And then he tries to set a man on fire. A la Randy Orton.
What's so bad with that is the whole time I was watching that, I was like, this man is... And, me being an actor on the level that I am an actor, right? Obviously, I'm nowhere near the exposure he is, but me having acted, okay, whatever. I'm watching that shit, and I'm just like, this man is giving an amazing performance. Something must be wrong with me because I don't care. Like, that's what I was thinking the whole time.
I thought you were going to say you didn't like his performance there. I'm like, that's why you're a better actor than me, because I thought he did a great job.
No, I could objectively recognize that dude was killing that, and I did not care.
That's what I'm asking. What is it that he's not a 5-star Daniel Bryan style wrestler? Like, what is it that's not working?
Honestly, I don't know. There's just something about him where I look at him and I'm like, and I mean, I can't even fully say that because there are other wrestlers where I look at and I'm just like, there's not much to this dude, right? But I look at Eddie Kingston, I'm like, there's not much to this dude to really get me invested. And I thought about it too, where y'all were like, well, he's a regular dude. That's the whole point. So is Kevin Owens. I like him.
Yeah, I like Kevin Owens. I ain't saying that Eddie Kingston is a better wrestler than Kevin Owens.
No, I'm just talking about the whole being just a regular dude with no.
I don't have to hate other people just because I like Eddie Kingston, but Eddie Kingston I find hilarious. I find Eddie Kingston hilarious because he is just that dude. You see, no, that's what makes you not a good critic and stuff. Because sometimes I like characters that what you see is what you get. And I like being able to see a character on my screen, expect something out of that character, and then they give me exactly what I was expecting. Not every time. Obviously, I like being surprised as much as the next guy. But Eddie Kingston, I see him come out, I'm like, oh shit, what's Eddie about to do? He's going to say or do something real stupid, or not stupid, but you get my point, I'm here to fight. God damn it, I hate everybody. And then he comes out, and he does exactly that. And I'm happy. And I'm like,
the promo off he did with CM Punk right before, I want to say Full Gear, I think it was. Well, I was there live when he came to St. Louis. I want to say it was Full Gear. It might have been Revolution, but I believe it was Full Gear. The promo off that he did with CM Punk, good shit. Where he was like, y'all called me fat. Y'all didn't treat me right, blah, blah, blah.
Apparently, there was a lot more truth to that.
Oh, I believe.
Apparently, no. In real life, those two really don't like each other.
Oh,
Like because apparently that shit he was saying actually did happen back then with them looking down on him and like, nah, fuck him. And the only person that helped him when he tried to go to WWE and at the Performance Center, the only person to try and speak up for him was John Moxley. Like, hey, that's my buddy. Look out for him. You know, everybody else acted like they ain't know the man, including one Claudio Castagnoli.
Brian Danielson.
But including a one Claudio Castagnoli, who also didn't vouch for him, who also apparently dropped what was at the time one of Eddie Kingston's biggest matches right before the pay-per-view against Claudio. Claudio leaves to go to WWE. And they can't have that match. So he hates him too. Eddie does. According to rumors, blah blah blah.
Like I said, the best promos are rooted in reality.
I agree. That's why I'm surprised you hate the man.
Amazing. I'm saying that was a great. Like I said, my head ain't so far up my ass that I can't admit when he does good shit. That was a great promo off the match he did with Jericho. Where it was Revolution or Full Gear, I forget. I'm getting those two mixed up. But the match he did with Jericho, the whole I'm gonna shake your hand, and Jericho didn't shake his hand. You can't win the big one. Great fucking match where Eddie won it. He was like, yeah, good shit. Most of the time, Eddie Kingston is not interesting to me though. But like I said, my head ain't so far up my ass that I can't admit when the man does, something that is interesting. Just most of the time, he doesn't interest me. So, but yeah, I think the next people who win the tag titles need to be Santana and Ortiz.
I can agree with that. I'd be happy. I was just saying this past weekend, out of that match, who I wanted to win. In all honesty, the past weekend, who I wanted to win the most out of that match was Swerve and Our Glory, just because if you're gonna put them in the match, I want them to win. I don't want them. I don't know why you would put those two together and have them lose all the time, but clearly they know more than me. As far as, but I don't like Ricky Starks and Hobbs. That would have been my least favorite team.
You don't like them at all, or you just didn't like them to win?
I like Hobbs. I don't like Ricky Starks.
See, you talking about me? What's wrong with Starks? You're not supposed to like him anyway. But
first off, I'm not supposed to like him, and two, he's just annoying. It's not like the Eddie Kingston. Like, I like him more than I used to, but if you're asking who I want to win a match between them, Jungle Boy, and the thing. Main reason Jungle Boy I was more okay with than the Ricky Starks and whatever was they're clearly trying to build him as a star of the future as well. And much like the Hookhausen thing, clearly he's in this tag team to keep him protected until he's fully developed enough to be his own single. Yeah. Jungle Boy.
If you look at that match, 2 out of the 6 people, 5 of them have been built up on some level to be singles competitors. The only one who hadn't really was Luchasaurus. So, like, we don't know Luchasaurus without being in a tag team. So,
do we know Jungle Boy? He's been with Luchasaurus since he got there.
Jungle Boy has had some matches solo and has been, called out solo, and they teasing this whole fucking Christian gonna whoop his ass shit, apparently. Speaking of shit they were teasing, before we close it out, speaking of shit they were teasing, everybody, and I'm gonna say this shit, everybody who was all like, what are they doing? First of all, Ray Phoenix got injured, so they had to derail it. Second of all, I don't give a fuck. They gave you a nugget here, they gave you a nugget there. It wasn't bad. The payoff to the Julia Hart House of Black shit was gorgeous. I don't care. It was amazing. So the wrestling world, please kindly STFU. Okay.
Sure.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
The girl that turned evil and joined House of Black.
Yes, she got spit in the face.
Cool.
It did go longer than, hoped probably. But it didn't bother me that it went long. And when they finally, the lights went out, and then, first of all, that was my match of the night. So who was Julia Hart? Julia Hart was the cheerleader with Varsity
Before Blondes. That, though, why is it?
She was the cheerleader with Varsity Blondes. I don't know what you mean.
Why is this so revolutionary that she's part of House of Black now?
She got so okay. So
I understand they brainwashed her to join the group on some Bray
she got
Wyatt
misted
shit.
in the face, and then the whole thing with it was that she got misted in the face, so she went from being all bubbly to being more reserved to herself, sad, solemn. She was wearing an eye patch where she got spit at. It was like all this shit where they were throwing these nuggets of she's turning. She did a singles match and she like kicked Griff Garrison and Pillman Jr. like out, like she kicked him out, like, you know, y'all leave. And he was like, holy shit, why is she kicking us out? You know, they do a match, she's sitting on the stairs by herself. By herself. Then it was like Malachi gives him a chair to hit one of the Varsity Blondes, but she couldn't do it. So they were throwing these nuggets in. Mm-hmm. The problem that a lot of people had, which I could kind of see, was it was drawn out for a minute.
Oh, that's because everybody nowadays wants everything to last. Like, they want 1 week storylines. That's all they want and care about. So I don't mind that. I had no problem with it because I had seen like that they were warping her or whatever. I just thought everyone was losing their shit because she used to have some other name that was a lot bigger. They're like, holy shit, she joined House of Black. It was just like, oh, for me, it was like, oh, so she finally joined them. Cool. I had no problem with it. I had no problem with it, nor was I like, oh my God, highlight of Double or Nothing, Julia Hart.
To me, I loved it. And the main reason I loved it was, one, yeah, it did last a minute. The time limit didn't bother me. It lasted longer than they probably would have hoped. One thing that did derail it was with the whole Lucha Brothers, Death Triangle, House of Black feud, Rey Fenix getting injured, you know, it did derail it for a second. So they couldn't really, you know, do too much of that. But also, I loved it because we saw her turning and then the payoff to a storyline that they slowly build, and then the lights go out. It's like, what the fuck?
Also, if we're gonna
holy shit.
Also, if we're gonna say Hookhausen took from Rock and Sock and all this shit, are we not gonna talk about the fact that this whole mist changes your gimmick is taken away from the Fiend thing? Because when the Fiend beat somebody, their gimmick changed, or do we not remember that?
I'm not trying to have selective memory. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a thing that kept happening. The Fiend would beat somebody, and then suddenly they go on a different tangent, and they got a whole new gimmick, like one way or the other. They either go like they practically face turned or heel turned almost every time when the Fiend actually beat them.
Oh shit!
That's part of like why when he would like hit them with the fucking glove, like the mandible claw equivalent thing. Mm-hmm. Shortly afterwards, they'd start acting differently. You can go back and see how he affected various people, but that was the whole deal with the Fiend. Because it's like, I think one of the first people he did was Finn, because he beat normal Finn Balor, who was a face at the time, and the next time we see Finn, he's like, I'm heel, I'm the prince, blah, 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 I'm Prince Balor again, doing all this shit, and just heel persona for a while. He beat John Cena so hard, he disappeared from TV for a year. He just straight up killed John Cena. He put the mandible claw on Alexa, and next thing you know, she's his mind slave.
All that shit, yeah.
He tried to get to Randy, but Randy set him on fire because Randy always wins. That's probably why they haven't really put Randy against Roman in Roman's Reign of Terror, because Randy always wins. So let's distract him with pot and scooters. No, like just keep Randy high in a corner over here, so he doesn't care about the WWE Championship. That way, we keep him and Roman strong.
Julia Hart payoff was gorgeous though, and then what they did on Rampage, where they had the like House of Black vignettes, and then Julia walked out and said some shit.
Oh yeah, I wanted.
Like, you did this to yourselves. I was like, it's gorgeous. I love it.
This program seems to be more about complaining about things we don't like than things we do like. But one of the things I wanted to talk about on here when it comes to talking about things we do like, first off, I liked the whole Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I thought we would touch more on it as an event instead of these topics, but whatever. I liked it as a whole to wrap that in a nice bow. Good job, AEW. Went a little long, but I liked it. It was 6 hours. It went a little long. But I liked it.
I don't want to stop your point.
I I like that AEW has a whole ass. It seems like it has certain divisions that you either do or don't go to. Like you have your AEW proper with the main stars and stuff that are fighting for the titles and all this shit. Your Pride Lands where you got this, and then you have your goofy division where your fucking best friends, den houses. Here's all your funny gimmicks. They're just happy to be here. And then you have the fucking elephant graveyard of AEW. You don't want to go over to this part of AEW because everybody there is fucking terrifying and on some terrifying shit. Whether it's the House of Black and all the shit they're doing, whether it's all the Death Triangle shit, because like that, the vignettes of House of Black versus Death Triangle, you see the House of Black, we're gonna fucking kill you because we're evil, and then it cuts to like Pac, I blindfolded myself because I'm evil too, and I want to murder somebody, and then Penta, and they were like, Penta got sprayed in the eye, and then he went from Penta El Cerro Miedo to Penta El Oscuro, meaning like literally
Dark
darkness, Dark Penta, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking bury you in my skeleton with my shovel. It's like, I don't want to be over here. That's also where Andrade hangs with his fucking boss music entrance that I mentioned, because he was also dealing with all that shit. Like, you don't want to go to that region of AEW because it's like, no, I want to stay as far from that side of AEW as I can. Fucking Blackpool Liver Club technically belong over there too, because they don't fuck around either. They're just like, no, we're here to fight and hurt people. You come to this side of AEW, you're not here to have wrestling matches. You're here to get hurt. The worst part about it is a lot of them are really good at having wrestling matches too, so you can't even out-technique them. They're just here to hurt you while putting on a really fucking good match to make sure that people see you getting your ass whooped for all time. You're probably going to get injured because that's how we do things in this side. And I like the fact that that's a division of AEW because it keeps the things interesting when titles aren't on the line. It's like, what's going on over here? Oh, God, here we go. Like John Moxley, before he went on rehab, and he had his whole storyline of John Moxley versus Japan. That shit was fantastic. Meanwhile, in John Moxley versus Japan. Yeah, meanwhile.
People are speculating it might happen again because, the Double or Nothing, the match that got set up was, Punk was like, who am I going to face? And then I think it was, Tanahashi or something like that. Mm-hmm. But now Punk's injured. So people are saying, well, is Moxley going to take his place? Like, some people are like...
Moxley takes the belt and it just keeps going back to Moxley versus Japan. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah. The reason why I made that face when you said the whole thing about Double or Nothing being long, I will give you 5 hours, 5+ hours is long. 4 hours or so pay-per-view... I look at the wrestling fandom right now, and I'm like, y'all, did we forget that for the longest time, every wrestling pay-per-view was 3 hours, WrestleMania was 4, maybe 4+, and nobody had a problem? And then now all of a sudden 4 hours is too long. Okay. That's just crazy to me. So
what part of me saying it was 6 hours made you think I had a problem with it being 4 hours?
No, that's why. I said I'll give you like 5+ hours. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I love. And again, I liked it. It just went a little long. If fucking WrestleMania goes long, you're right. It goes like 4.5 hours, almost 5 hours, and that is a long ass time. But
I hate the idea of a 2
and not all the matches were worth being on the show for WWE when they do those long ass things.
I don't think
AEW. I was fatigued. I ran out of good. I had like good match fatigue at a moment where I was like, "This is great, but I don't care."
I don't think every match in Double or Nothing was worthy of Double or Nothing this go around. I think what this pay-per-view suffered from, if you can use that terminology, because I hate to say it that way, but let's just be honest, if I'm speaking my opinion, I think what this pay-per-view suffered from was there were a lot of matches that were made last minute with not a lot of steam behind them. And obviously it was good matches, but there was no steam behind them. Like, for instance, Let me see. Jade Cargill and a J. Come on.
Well, Jade
what else?
Cargill needs a match. She's a champion. And AEW treats their champions like champions and tries to put them on pay-per-views.
Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin. That was right before.
That match didn't need to happen, but
it was amazing.
Darby Allin also dips his toe in that fucking. He's main roster, you know. He's Pride Lands. He's always on your thing, but that motherfucker belongs over there in the evil division with all the rest in the scary division, and you fucking know.
and Kyle O'Reilly, you know, he's an amazing wrestler too. So we knew that match was gonna be good, and it was.
It was a good match. It's just like guys, but I'm with you because they were. I'm pretty sure one of them was bleeding in that match, and they were getting hurt. Just like guys, there's literally nothing on the line. There's not even a storyline here. Why are you killing yourselves so fucking hard?
I also thought
it was great, but it's like Jesus Christ, this is a whole match that doesn't need to be.
I also thought that the show had a lot of matches that had slow pacing on them and stuff like that too. I'm just I'm just being honest. But yeah,
I like Double or Nothing.
This Double or Nothing go around, I thought that it was cool. It was good, but it wasn't.
I wouldn't say pay-per-view of the year or nothing.
It wasn't. I thought there were a lot of matches that would have been a little bit better suited for like maybe a Rampage or a Dynamite.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, who should be the next person to have the TNT title?
Who do you think? I answered first one.
Scorpio definitely. I'm not gonna cop out and just say this. Scorpio definitely should hold on to it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because him and Sammy ping pong that bitch back and forth, so let him actually hold on to it and have a decent reign. The easy answer would be Miro, but honestly, I think Miro has graduated to chasing the AEW title. Whether he gets it or not, he's graduated to chasing it. Next person that had a TNT title, man, get that motherfucker to Kyle O'Reilly, maybe.
Maybe.
That'd be interesting.
I can see him more as a TNT title than I can see him as an AEW title.
Now, one out of the Undisputed Elite, out of all of them, would be interesting. Yeah. But get that motherfucker to him. Or, and I'm going to be honest because I can speak objectively, get that motherfucker to Kyle O'Reilly or maybe Eddie Kingston. Because of what it would mean.
Maybe, but as much as I love Eddie Kingston, I'm going to be honest with you. I will say I don't see Eddie Kingston as a champion or anything unless it's like a tag team championship and he happens to be along for the ride. Not because I don't respect Eddie Kingston and don't think he needs any accolades, but because I think character-wise he doesn't fucking need it. Because at the end of the day, it ain't he ain't here, and it ain't here to look pretty. It half the time ain't even here to win, because half the time he don't. He's just there to fight. So because of that aspect of his character, that's the only reason I don't see him as a champion for TNT. I'll agree with you on the Kyle O'Reilly thing, but I also feel like Scorpio should hold on to this for a minute because
he needs to hold on to it.
It's been trading hands too frequently.
But
Miro was also going to be something just because his whole redeeming himself as the redeeming arc, but but my caveat was going to be only if they don't think he's main event picture now and needs to go after the title,
which I kind of see that.
Yeah. So I could see Miro going further in that regard. If you're not putting him with the belt, yes, put that motherfucker back with the TNT championship. He needs some kind of gold around his waist. The dude is fucking terrifying. And, he's on the main roster. He's outside of the scary division. He's out here terrorizing the normal peeps. You let that guy, you put a belt on him then. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people from that division leave to go to the main, like, oh, wait, we heard there's championships over here. You put a belt on one of them. That's all I'm saying.
Looking championship you got there. What was I gonna say? So who should be the next one to get the AEW? I am somewhat in the boat. I'm a little torn. I'm somewhat in. Obviously, you know, we got with Punk. So, you know, but I'm somewhat in the boat that before a new person gets it, maybe it's time for someone to have it twice.
Yeah, with Punk, like I also am torn, and with Punk being injured right after fucking getting the title, I'm practically all out of faith. I mean, that's just how I feel. But the bottom line is, if they're not, they seem very anti having repeat champions. But then again, they've only had 5.
Right.
In the what 3 years the company's been not even. Yeah, in the not even 3 years the company's been open.
I think Double or Nothing was the anniversary of 3 years.
Okay, so in the 3 years the company's been open, they've only had 5 champions, which is, I know people are like, well, that's more than one champion a year. Yeah, but look at the WWE pre this past Roman Reigns era. They definitely had more. Their main titles changed hand more than 3 times in 5 years, or more than 5 times in 3 years. Hell, sometimes they had to change more than 5 times in 1 year. That said, and yes, AEW is a young company, and they could eventually get to that point. Nonetheless, they seem anti the idea of repeat champions. So if you're not putting it on someone who's already had it, I don't think you put it on Miro, despite the fact we were just saying you put a belt on him. You don't put it on him to hold it over for CM Punk. If anything, holding it over for CM Punk, because they're saying they're doing this thing as an interim champion.
Right, which means that they're eventually going to face Punk when he's ready, because they did that with Cody and Sammy. So
yeah, they're like, eventually you're gonna have to give it back or whatever. So
you have to face him, and then the winner keeps the main. Right?
So why not repeat? Hell, give it to fucking. If you do a repeat champion, do it to Jericho. Fuck it. He's got this shit going on right now
with the AAS and all that shit.
Exactly. Or because they just went out on a big promo this past week. Because I'm still gonna bring them up, even though they not done much and lose. But they like, fuck it. We trying to be serious now. We may have lost so far, but we about to start whooping some ass. You surprise people and just have Keith Lee go out there, shit on everybody, and win the fucking title.
Well, if Keith Lee just won this title without much steam, obviously the Battle Royal will give anybody the steam they need. But if Keith Lee won this title out of nowhere, that would be, I wouldn't even necessarily be upset. That would just be surprising.
Exactly. So why not hit real fucking hard? Like, and I said, with the caveat, I was doing that caveat because they just had a promo. Like, whether it's the TNT Championship or the real thing, we're trying to take shit seriously now. We're tired of losing. So with them saying something like that, and then coming out the next week and just being like, Keith Lee's like, no, motherfucker, I'm the champion. I said I'm serious now. You removed them from the tag team division, you know, and you got them being like a serious faction or whatever, because it seems like they'll start adding people, because AEW loves their factions. Even though they're only a tag team now, give them some time. They'll have other teammates, and it'll be a faction. AEW's it's like all faction wrestling. You gotta ally with somebody when you come in here. You gotta click up with somebody.
I would have said get him up to MJF, but MJF got this shit going on right now, and
could also give it to MJF. However, if you give it to MJF right now,
I'm saying,
that seems like you're caving.
Not yet. Don't do that right now.
That seems like you're caving if you don't make a story out of him finally winning that title.
Not even just because of the possibility of looking like you're caving. Just he's got his own shit going on. He does not. I say he does not need a title thrown in the mix.
Also, if you give him the title right after he gets a pipe bomb moment, you quote unquote pipe bomb moment, you're really paralleling the Punk thing at that point.
I didn't even think about that.
I'm disrespected, so I'm going to leave the company, but first, I've got some things to get off my chest. Oh, wait, they cut off my microphone technically after I said everything of importance anyway. Oh, wait, I won the championship, and now I'm going to walk out anyway, despite having the championship. JK, it was all a work. But I'm back now at least, and I'm treated with more respect. That would be kind of what happens there.
What if you want to talk about the parallels of CM Punk? What if CM Punk winning the title, right? What if CM Punk getting injured, which I honestly don't believe that this is the case at all. But what if CM Punk getting injured is all a work so MJF can win the title, and then they do the whole Money in the Bank 2011, who's the real champion shit, but this time Cena, the role of Cena is played by CM Punk. Like, bro, what? No, but obviously no, I don't believe that's the case. No,
what if they give it to Wardlow?
That would be dope.
Just like he goes like, "Hey, I'm finally here, and I've been killing people, so fuck it." Actually, you want to have MJF have real life / storyline reason to be pissed. Wardlow being given this championship and MJF not even being in the fucking battle royal. That's fuel to MJF's fire. Like, oh, you let that motherfucker?
That would be dope.
He just got a contract.
Right, which
I've been here for years. On my own. Winning. Writes itself.
But I say that before you give it to a new person, let somebody repeat. Obviously, Moxley's in there, so they might give it to Moxley.
He's blood and
new
guts.
Person, huh?
He's blood and guts in right now. Same thing with Jericho. So they're probably not neither of them.
I don't think Jericho needs it because the JAS thing, and Moxley don't need it because this Blackpool Combat, club, Eddie Kingston, Santana T shit. But the person to give it to new, it's a cop out. I'm not sure. Like the people you named are good, but I honestly don't know out of the other.
Give it back to Adam Page. Be like, oops, our bad. You had a short raid anyway.
I would feel slightly away about that, but I mean, like I said, I there's more they could do. I feel so. Who should be the next person to win the TBS? I think this is what I say. The way they're building this mug up, the way they're starting to build this up, you let Athena finally take that off Jade, then Jade wins the women's.
I'm fine with that.
That's how I see it.
I'm fine with what you just said. That makes sense. Took them long enough to sign Athena, by the way. We've been wondering if they were going to sign her for months. People thought they were going to have her come out instead of Toni Storm.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they did. That's right. They did. That's right. But I say, because of how they're building this up, the one that's like, holy shit, what we going to do? Who we going to, take this off? Oh, no. You let Athena be the one to dethrone Jade's streak, but then Jade gets dethroned just for a second to take a higher throne with the women's title. Because, I mean, the only other person that I would see maybe get the TBS that's not Athena would be Ruby Soho. Now, a lot of people would say about Statlander. Statlander deserves it, but I kind of see a little more of something in Soho than Statlander.
I definitely, that's the thing. I see more in I
right now.
I agree, but I don't want to see either of them with the belt.
Soho needs that belt at one point. I think so. And Statlander too, for that matter. My problem with Statlander, I think Statlander needs a bit of a mouthpiece, but
or at least to stop this whole alien thing.
Well, she did.
She did?
She's wearing all black now and shit. She had that whole wiping my makeup off thing that she did like a month or two ago.
Oh, good. Yeah. Goes that last.
Like, you haven't noticed she comes out, she's wearing all black.
No, like you said, they don't have the women on the AEW ever. How am I supposed to know?
And then they also had Statlander and a Jay align themselves with Athena to go against the baddies.
Only reason I'd say not the Ruby Soho thing is I get that she's also very popular and very much a crowd favorite. Only reason I say not her is kind of the same reason you say Keith Lee shouldn't. And she just goes out there and loses. She just loses in like all the big matches.
I said Keith Lee getting it would be surprising, but I wouldn't be.
But you were saying he had no momentum going, and neither does she.
Yeah. That's why no steam. Yeah, so I was like, the Battle Royal will give somebody steam, but no, he doesn't have any steam right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Ruby Soho got a little bit of something because she made it to the finals of the Owen Hart
and lost.
But that's something.
Keith Lee was just in a championship match for the tag team things and lost.
For tag team, not for main.
Nonetheless, he was there. He was in a title match and lost. That's all I'm saying.
My only problem with Swerve in Our Glory is the name.
I don't like the name. I don't like that being the name of the team. I like it being a catchphrase.
If it was a catchphrase, team. Honestly, a catchphrase, I was like, I'll say it, I'll call him that or whatever. It's not like terrible, bleh. But I listened to it and I'm just like, really? That's what we do? We Swerve in Our really? Okay.
Yeah, Swerve in Our Glory, I have no problem with. The motherfuckers are gonna just talk about Sword of Strickland is gonna just say Swerve a lot anyway with his thing. Hell, his music just says Swerve over and over again. The crowd is gonna constantly talk about, if not himself, basking in its glory. And like I said, those two's whole gimmick is feeling themselves as hard as fucking possible whenever they come out. Like, so yeah, telling other people to swerve in their glory just sounds like something these motherfuckers would do.
It's two very different ways, like I said, two very different ways of feeling the fuck out of themselves.
That's what it. Like, the team should be unstoppable because I don't feel like you would ever be able to hit them as hard as they feel themselves. Motherfucker's finisher did like spirit bomb into the stomp or the dude would roll and then do a bow as the 1, 2, 3 is coming. I'm like, okay. That is godlike.
The like doomsday device, swerve stomp shit.
The fact that he rolled out like doing this thing into just stand up bow, one swift motion as the 1, 2, 3. That's a fantastic finisher for a scary tag team that you don't want to go against because you don't want to lose like that. They beat me and flexed on me simultaneously and flawlessly like that. Also, Keith Lee is fucking terrifying. He'll throw your ass halfway across the arena and then run and catch you because he's fast. He's surprisingly fast.
That dude moves
I'm exaggerating.
So nimble to be such a large guy.
To be that big. His ass don't need to be doing suicide dives. First off, half the people doing suicide dives need to stop.
You saw what happened with fucking Darby? He did the suicide dive and caught the rope wrong and like it whipped his head into the fucking ground. So then they redid the spot. Shit.
And then he redid the spot. Exactly. The whole enabler thing. Like, okay, rather than, all right, let's move on and not do it. No. That motherfucker said, hey, can you still technically move? Yeah, do it again.
But yo,
I love me some Darby Allin, by the way.
At the end of the day, everybody, this is just
Jesus. It's been 3.5 hours.
I know. At the end of the day, everybody, this is just two lifelong best friends doing what lifelong fans of wrestling do, and offering way more opinionated input about shit that we know nothing about. Because that is what we do when you watch wrestling, and that is the fun of doing this, is talking wrestling with your friends about shit that you really don't know about as if you do. So hopefully y'all could take from this some level of entertainment and give some feedback and not take anything too serious, because at the end of the day, as serious as it may seem that we took any of this, we didn't take this shit that serious either. We're just having a conversation, enjoying the conversation, and hopefully you can enjoy the conversation with us. All that being said, if you want to follow your boy on his socials, or just anywhere outside of this dealio. First off, the two of us on said channel right now called Whatever We Want Podcast. Anything that is not the first Sunday of the month, every Wednesday, like I said previously, 10 Central, 11 Eastern, you can go ahead and watch us do the Whatever We Want podcast every week. So if you want to go ahead and follow your boy outside of, podcasting and whatnot, then you can go ahead. First of all, find Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
As nature intended. SUPERJAZ. Go ahead, type that in on YouTube. I got 2 music videos up on my channel. One for my single All That Remains, and then the second single I Tried, featuring my girl Camille Moroff, on my Super Jazz page. Not Dash Topic, just Super Jazz. Go ahead, check out that page. It's gonna be a few other things on there here and there. Go ahead and run the numbers up on those music videos, and just subscribe while you're there, because there's gonna be other shit for you to go ahead and look at. Speaking of me making music, yes, I rap. So anywhere you stream your music, go ahead and type in Super Jazz. Look for the album My Secret Identity that I released last October. You may have to put in Super Jazz, My Secret Identity, since I'm not so famous yet. Also, if you want to go ahead, follow me on Twitter under Super Jazz 2, which would be Super Jazz number 2. And of course, I got an Instagram, so you can go ahead and find me under Forever Super Jazz. The word forever is spelled correctly. If they want to find you, where can they find you?
Oh, first off, you can find me here every week, every Wednesday, as Jazz stated already. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube under feogrande, that is Feo Grande. I have other videos where I talk with friends as well, including one of my other best friends in the world, the one Bill Smith, where we review movies and stuff. We're trading movies back and forth that one or the other hasn't seen. Last week, I believe, was Doctor Strange. This coming Tuesday is The Departed. A good one. Guess which one of the two of us hadn't seen The Departed. So that's on that channel. Also, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch as Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. And yeah, I don't really, aside from that, don't have that much of an internet presence, but I'm here for you.
Well, that being said, y'all, we'll see y'all next Sunday. To go ahead and give more way.
Next Sunday?
Not next Sunday. We'll see y'all next month. We'll see y'all next first Sunday to give more way too opinionated input about all things wrestling. Join in the discussion, y'all, for real. Be nice. Don't take it too serious. We love you.
Adiosness.